Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. If it's morning for you, could be midnight, could be anytime. This is an early Drew Morg stream. Hit the like button, you bigots. I'm just kidding. That's Tristan's word. He gets to use the bigot word. I'm not at that level yet. I don't get to call my audience bigots yet. Appreciate it. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been less than 24 hours since we streamed, guys. That's like a new record. I don't think we've ever done back-to-back with less than 24 hours in between. That is a new thing for me. I've only been up for a few minutes, so I hope that I'm making some sense this morning. I was like, we going to do the hair today? It's too early in the morning to do the hair. I was like, nah. We had to do the hair. So the voice is going to probably sound a little weird for a little bit. But it's all good. Wow, there's so much chat going on. I knew this was going to be popping off. It's a Saturday. It's Bobby's perspective. You know, I'm a little underslept, guys, so I'm going to be honest with you. I think that we're just going to have to do a good old-fashioned vegan bashin' today. All right? That's what I'm going to ask for Bobby. And I'm going to sip on my caffeine. Yes, people are asking about my coffee. Hey from Alberta, Canada. Hello. We got a lot. Where are you at, Drew? Right here, baby. All right, guys. Today we have Bobby's perspective. He'll be on in 27 minutes. For now, you'll have me. Such is life. Do you know the song by the Offs, Everyone's a Bigot? No, I don't. 11:30 in Texas? That's where my sister lives right now. Do I want a beard like Bobby? That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I do. I can't grow that, though. I got, like, the patchy, like, you know, Kevin Federline beard. Cargill coffee, absolutely. Yeah, this is factory grown, enhanced in a lab. Even better than natural. Why do you need that Colombian crap? You can watch Vegan or Meth with Bobby. Is that Tristan's specialty? Mr. Kobayashi. What up, you sexy motherfucker? Powerful KG. It's been a while since I've seen that name in the chat. Hey, what up? Hey, get your coffee in, guys. New study says Drew Morg live streams cures depression. That is a powerful statement right there. You're going to need a double-blind clinical trial. Vegan Gains is not going to believe that. He's going to check your sources. That is not admissible in the court of the vegans. Alley Cat says, Drew, you got to play the song called Everyone's a Bigot by the Offs. Do I need to? Is it good? I'm gonna get it demonetized. I can't do it. Chris Holton, welcome to the chat. I'm seeing like tons of new names. I love that there's more and more people that are coming out of the woodworks. I don't know if you guys have been longtime viewers and just like not participated in the chat, but I really appreciate people typing into their little keyboards over there. Makes it a lot more fun, a lot more interactive for everybody in the chat community part of it. What's up, Ninx? Saw that guitar playing yesterday, man. That was pretty good. Damn good. Good morning, honest and really organic. And redheaded princess, of course. What's up? What's up, everybody? So, today we're going to have Bobby in about 24 minutes. Of course, we're just going a little bit early. EU-friendly times today. This is not going to be a Pacific Islander, not Pacific Islander, the Australian islands, that side of the world. Asia, Australia are getting cut off today. It's going to be way too early for them in the morning. Just an oak tree pick. I like my coffee like women, grown in a laboratory by a multinational. Yikes. You sound a bit conspiracy-ish, okay? We don't do conspiracies around here. We only watch people deteriorate with our own two eyes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Christine. God, I love Christine. Christine says, hi, Drew, and everyone else. I'm just getting to the gym, then going to listen to the stream while you work out. Happy Saturday. Awesome. We'll keep it high intensity for you. I'll do it in 2-minute intervals for you. I'm going to go to the gym after this too. Somebody made a comment to me that, regarding Frank's craziness.
And then here we've got some cranberry.
Early super chat.
It's great for your penis or vagina.
It's great for your penis or vagina. If you didn't know, cranberry juice, guys. Get some at your local store, your local vegan store, wherever you can find it. Redheaded Princess, thank you for the Canadian $6.99. Type a 1 in the chat if you think Drew needs a Patreon. Hey, you guys let me know. Should I make a Patreon? I feel like Patreon, it's one of those services, like, it's hard for me to want to make a Patreon, but I get that there's people who want extra content outside of YouTube, and I guess there is a benefit, because I think of like, what's the benefit for you guys? So if I'm able to make content I can't talk about on YouTube over there for the special Patreon people, then I can see there being a purpose for it. If it's just another way to collect cash, I'd rather just focus all my efforts on the live streaming. And man, if somebody really wants to donate, I can give them my PayPal link if they want to do that. But that my purpose, my whole drive right now is to grow this channel. I'm trying to utilize all of the YouTube means available, like the community tab and posting more often and stuff like that. And I see that YouTube is somewhat helping me out. Atlas says she's 4 minutes late. Atlas, are you a girl? I think you are a girl. By the way that you by the guess that you seem to enjoy most. But anyways, yeah, so Patreon for me, we'll see. We'll see. If there's a way that I can do extracurricular content, stuff I can't talk about here, people can maybe ask for they can request content. That would be a good way to go. I could see that being worthwhile for everybody. Really Organic says, Drew, just have a PayPal so people can donate when you are not on stream. Do you have a way for people to donate when the show is not live? I don't publicly post it, but I do have a PayPal. Yeah. I could start putting it in there, I guess. There's been people who have requested that. They wanted to donate outside of YouTube. For those of you that don't know, YouTube takes 30% of the super chat money. So when you guys donate, if you guys donated $100, $30 goes to freaking YouTube. That's a lot. Oh, Atlas is 100% male. Okay, got it. You still want to fight over the women for me. Okay, well then, hey, still appreciate your love. Sorry, I'm assuming genders here. They've made some advancements recently, okay? That's all I can say. Taylor asks, Drew, have you had any more dental issues since giving up veganism? No. So when I first left veganism, I want to be very specific. There is this tooth here, right here. This one, like that canine right there. It was, the bottom portion of it was getting very gritty feeling, and it was starting to turn like a orangey brownish color. You were starting to see the dentine through it. And there's been other teeth in my mouth that have actually been gotten to that state where I actually had to get bonding. And I could probably show you on the camera, but I don't think you guys want to see it in my mouth. But yeah, I got bonding on this tooth and on this tooth as a vegan. So, and more teeth. I got bonding on 4 teeth as a vegan, but those 2 are the front teeth. I've never had any dental work on any of my front teeth. It's all been on the molars in the back as like a teenager. There's the last time I ever had any fillings. And so I had to get the bonding there. But here on the bottom, I was watching it deteriorate as a vegan, and I was trying my best to not let it go any further.
Here comes the real steak. But just look at the texture of this thing.
Yeah, so it is no longer orangey or gritty whatsoever. It's smooth now. So, I mean, smooth, hard teeth, I think, are healthier than, gritty, grainy, rough teeth. Bonding is like the white, what do they call that? Not the mercury filling, the other one. I can't think of the name. Ceramic. The ceramic coating. Ceramic fillings. They put like a ceramic hard like glass almost on there, and then they shave it down. Yeah, I've had that on a few teeth. They actually had to put that on some of my molars too. I have one here on the left side, back left molar, and I have it on the back right side. They just put a fat slab of the bonding on there because the decay was starting to like go from the base of the enamel around my gum line up and around into the molar. So they basically composite, not ceramics. Thank you, dental hygienist Christine. Thank you. Composite, not ceramic. Yeah, so they put a fat slab on there. It was a really poorly done job by my dentist, but thankfully my one of my best friends has become a dentist since then. So I'm gonna have to fly out to Colorado and see him in his clinic setting and have him just deck me out with flossed out brand new teeth. Do whatever I gotta do. Pull some insurance on it. Christine, you want to weigh in on this healthy teeth, healthy fillings debacle? Really Organic says to find healthy fillings, look for Biz GMA-free fillings. What do you think about that? My buddy says that even the mercury is not bad for you. He says that there's been tons of science done on it. Mercury is A-okay, and it lasts longer. Like if you see an 80-year-old in the clinical setting in a dentist's office with tooth pain, and one tooth has the mercury filling for 40 years and one has the composite filling from 5 years ago, he said 9 times out of 10 it'll actually be the issue with the composite.
I don't even know where to start, dude. Like I'm still reintegrating into like my reality or whatever.
Thank you, Alley Cat, for the big $10 donation. 30% is way too much for them to take. Would rather donate via PayPal. Okay, I will update that. I'll make it so that PayPal hopefully can trigger the alerts and do all that. And then we can be greedy over here and take 100%. Fuck you, YouTube. You know, I kind of look at it as give and a take here. You know, they promote my channel. I'm getting super chats. I'm sure there's something in the algorithm that benefits you from using super chats. Christine says it causes fractures in the tooth because it expands and contracts with heat cold and releases mercury into your body. Is that real though? That sounds like some hippie shit. Did you learn that from a dentist or from the internet? I'm just playing. I'm sure there's something to it, but I mean, I don't know. Mercury goes into your brain via your mouth. Yeah, but like we could probably handle a little mercury. We eat fish. Composites need to be replaced more often, but at least you're not getting that mercury exposure and fractured teeth. Yeah, but don't they have to be heated up for there to be any issue with the actual the mercury itself? Like, doesn't it have to be a certain temperature? For instance, when it goes in. Because what he told me was basically the only danger to you, the only exposure you're really going to get throughout your lifetime is when it goes in or when it's taken out. How many mercury fillings have you had? In my lifetime, I had before I had my adult teeth, I had probably 4 or 5. And then since I've been an adult, I have 1 mercury filling. And then the rest are all composite. Bobby will be on soon, guys. I'm going to email you the link in just a second here, Bobby, as I set up the Zoom. Chit-chatting with the chat. The fillings heat up every time you eat hot food or drink coffee. Ooh, good point. Okay, the one saving grace is that mine is on the top. I don't know if that matters that much, but at least it's on the top. Right? So I think we're fine. At least that's what I want to believe. I'm not getting that shit replaced. I don't care. I'm going to the grave with my mercury filling. You can't take it away from me. Oh, I don't have Bobby's email. That's not good. Bobby, can you DM me your email address? If you're there. Mercury is fine. Far more important things to worry about in life, like the rise of flat earthers. Exactly. Hey, Dominic Kanak, thank you for joining the channel. Drew gets... No, I'm not getting it taken out. Christine, no. I'm keeping it. It's mine. It's worth money. It's metallic. silver. I'm like a gold miner here. You can't take my mercury away from me. This is a freaking classic. Antique. When my dad had a gold crown and they tried to take it out of him and they tried to keep the crown. He's like, hell no, give me that gold. WT says, I have all gold teeth, about $1,000 to $2,000 each tooth. Wow, congratulations. That's tight. Let me see I want to see your dentist. Real Organic says, I will still love you if you are a Mad Hatter. Did you know that term was created because the people that made hats use mercury in the brims and they would go mad? What? Let's watch vegan YouTube. Don't worry, this is going to be Bad Boys. First of all, thank you for participating in the chat. This is the first time I've seen Bad Boys, which is, by the way, one of the best movies of all time. Let's watch vegan YouTube. We're going to probably get into that. Okay? We're going to probably get into that. It's going to be Bobby's perspective. You guys already know this stream will be demonetized before it even gets started. There will be some vegan bashing. Just hold your horses. Let the foreplay happen, okay? We got to let this pace out a little bit, all right? You can't just go right for the kill, okay? There's a lot of things in life like that. You got to learn. Just pace yourself, okay? Vintage fillings. Bobby is getting too much attention, is he? No, he's not getting enough attention. I disagree. Oh, well, Glenn Gallagher, maybe he wants more attention. Don't worry, Drew, as you age, your tooth will crack and fall out. Oh, no. I don't want that to happen. Then I'll just go see my buddy in Colorado. He'll stitch me up with a brand new one. I got the tooth hookup now. I don't need to worry about shit. I'm not going to brush my teeth anymore. Let these bitches fall out and go get brand new ones. Durin Rider thinks you didn't brush enough, right? Yeah, like the guy whose teeth completely fell out of his head is telling me that, my hygiene wasn't good enough. It had nothing to do with the diet. It had nothing to do with the massive amounts of sugar that we were all eating. Fun with Food says, flat earth or spherical earth? Who really cares? I agree. It's a waste of time. So what? Okay, earth is flat. Cool. Next. Don't care. Don't care. I mean, we know it's not flat. It's the fucking stupidest thing you've ever heard. But who cares? Why do people want to argue this so much? Who cares? Why do people want to argue the dumbest, pointless shit? Thanks, Bobby.
Loaded up the bong, threw a little pinch of the fairy dust on it, and I took a rip. Huge fucking bong rip, dude.
Hey, wow. Happy wife and mom. Oh my God. I love this lady. I'll tell you that much. Morning, Drew. Sorry, they're going to take their 30%. Yeah, but you're boosting. See, you guys are all part of the algorithm boosting, because when YouTube sees the super chats flowing in, they start promoting the channel. So literally, you're investing in the channel. So I appreciate it. And thank you so much. That's a great, massively sized donation. Super, super appreciated. We got Christmas gifts to buy for young little Mia, so you guys know that your money's going to good use. She was here all day yesterday, actually. The little baby, if you guys didn't see her before. Sending Bobby an email, sorry. I realize I feel like I'm talking to a friend that could just see me right now. Hey, hang on, let me text my friend real quick. Hold on. So rude. So rude of me. I should probably send these beforehand so I don't have to interrupt the flow of the stream. And you guys know how important the flow is to me. All right. Bobby, the invite will be sent to you in a few minutes. It's scheduled now. Pop in whenever, pop in a few. I'll keep chit-chatting with the family here. Concave Earth and Flat Earth both are pushed. Yeah. Well, who cares about either one? I mean, the Earth is... Guys, I'm banning Flat Earthers in my chat, okay? Don't even tell me you're a Flat Earther. You're getting banned. We can't have you poisoning the well. And I love my boy Tim Sheaf. But Tim, come on. Come on down to the round Earth with me, please. I'm kidding. Tim, you can believe whatever you want, man. You got the sexiest abs I've ever seen. Drew can eat lunch now. Thank you. Yes, thank you for the donation. I can finally afford a grass-fed steak. She loves donating me grass-fed steaks. Did you, by the way, happy wife and mom, did you contact the 5-bar beef people yet? I don't know if I talked about it on stream, but I spoke to them on the phone last weekend. The girlfriend of the owner is very cool. She's with the whole vegan versus meat drama online. Like she's in it. I was really shocked and really impressed. Okay, really organic. You said something very important there. I spend no time investigating the shape of our Earth. LOL. I have no interest in any of that argument. See, okay. You see how we all pick and choose our little battles? Like, I think that you're going to learn something here, because I know that you like to research like the mercury, the chemtrails, all this stuff, all this sort of fringe stuff. But you see how there's other people out there that are so bought into this flat earth thing, and to them, that's the most important thing. And so, I don't know. It's like we all are picking our little rabbit hole battles, and I'm trying to get out of the rabbit holes. No rabbit holes here. That's my thing. Dwight says, Drew, I'm doing a 400 gram a day of sugar, no cavities, 10 years, only brush once a day, maybe genetics, no idea. I think it really depends if you're eating highly acidic foods as well. Like maybe sugar isn't going to be enough to do it for you. And also the way that you eat. Like when I would eat my banana smoothies as a vegan, like those bananas have fiber that's kind of sticky and starchy, and it sticks to your teeth. And I would also take about 2 hours on average to drink my entire 1,000 calorie banana smoothie. Because I don't know about you, but I can't just down 64 ounces of liquid fiber. I mean, that's a lot of food. So, in my opinion, that helps contribute a lot to it. And then also the fact that I ate oranges every day for breakfast probably contributed a lot to it. And also drank orange juice for months and months. Is that the real Zverage? Can't be. Really Organic says, I've never said I believe in chemtrails. I have experienced EMF issues and mercury firsthand, so that is why I know they are real. Not kidding. EMF is bullshit. EMF is bullshit, all right? EMF ain't doing nothing. I'll sleep in a room full of Wi-Fi routers for a year straight, and I won't get any issues. It's in your head. God damn it. It's in your head. We have all the fake profiles out today. I love it. Not Funny Anymore says, Drew, hey, can Cargo get a shout out? LOL, enjoying my cheap ass slender. Hey, guys, if you can only afford grain-fed steak, don't let people push you around. Don't let people push you around. Ban all fake accounts. They're annoying. Yeah, they do kind of get in the way. I'm actually kind of I love the fake accounts. I think they're funny, but they get too many people confused. The mail will be there like right now, Bobby. It just sent. Really Organic says all the research. Wait. The research? Wait a minute. The research? Hey, Vegan Gains? Yeah, Vegan Gains. Yeah, we got research on the EMF. Oh yeah, no, it's real. Yeah, EMF. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so yeah, the routers, they're going to kill us. Stay away from the routers. Stop using technology. Just call it quits. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm actually going to burn myself on after this one. Okay, appreciate that. All right, see you, man. All right, you're right. I'm done. I'm actually going to just power down my entire machine right now. The EMF is too much. All the leading experts, all the Dr. Gregors, everybody. Do some research, Drew. Very ignorant. Jimmy Spendix is offended. I love how it gives a little ding, like somebody's coming to your house, like hits the little doorbell. It's great. Wow. The EMF, you guys, the EMFers. The electro motherfuckers. That's what I'm going to start calling you guys. The EMFers. The Wi-Fi is blinding me. Pretty ignorant to just ignore something that actually causes harm to many people. Wow. A lot of my people who normally support me and support my antics are outraged. See, Kobayashi's coming through with some sense. There is the nocebo effect. If you imagine something like EMF hurting you, it can actually make you sick. Yeah. I'm not standing in front of the microwave. That's a little over the top. EMF D's nuts. Get on Tufano's level. Hey, I'm the one who sleeps perfectly fine at night. I'm fine. I don't need to do all this crazy shit. I'm eating Cargill meat. Grain-fed meat, not sponsored by Cargill. And I got Wi-Fi up my ass. I'm fine. All good. My teeth aren't falling out. I don't have headaches. Now, see, 5G is a new technology. Like that, we don't know what that's about yet. Maybe. Like, I'll leave space for that to be an issue if there's a massive influx of people having problems. By the way, guys, I have done a little research on this before you get all cranky on me. I have done some research on this. You need to have a router within 1 foot or a cell phone within 1 foot radius of you for prolonged periods of time for there to be any noticeable effects. So, okay, if you're super paranoid about it, then use headsets so you don't have to have your phone on your head. There you go, problem solved. Don't stand next to the microwave. Who is standing next to the microwave? Who is standing next to the microwave as their top ramen's heating up, and you're just like staring through the window? You're just like staring through the window watching it cook, and it's just boiling your head. What the hell are you doing? Oh, there's gonna be a lot of dislikes today. This stream is already getting demonetized. I'm already gonna just I'm writing it off. It's already demonetized, guaranteed. Bobby's here. He's lurking. He's coming on, I guess, in a minute or so. Maybe he's getting ready still. He's Bobby got a new microphone and stuff, so we're gonna hear an even better version of Bobby's voice. I think he's debuting the brand new microphone today. Taylor says, Drew, did you... Oh, hang on, I missed your thing. Drew, did you have headaches as a vegan? I remember having massive headaches if I didn't eat frequently enough. No, I have not been a person who ever has gotten headaches in my life. Like, sure, I get them sometimes. I actually had one yesterday or the day before. But it's not something I regularly get, no matter what I'm eating. I'm thankful for that. Headaches are a total bitch. I hate them, the way they feel. Really Organic says, LOL, I know a lot about EMFs, been researching it for years after that. Yeah, but there's been people who go to flat earth conventions and fucking measure the laser length of the water over the lake, and they think that they're right. They don't know shit. Drew, ask anyone who has digestive issues if they've ever been depressive anxiety meds. Seems to be a thing. That's a good lead. All right, guys, I see Bobby. Bobby, you're welcome to come on anytime, my man.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sounds good.
Fantastic. Sweet. Finally.
Whoa, there we go. Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. Let me also adjust. Hang on one second. I'm going to adjust your volume because people always they want more volume. So we're giving you more Bobby.
I was quite quiet on the Tristan stream last time with John Venus.
There we go. You got to boost it. You got to raise the roof on the volume a little bit on the internal settings. You guys don't realize I have like a freaking science lab over here. Like if you guys saw what I was working with, I got mixers going. I got the chats popping. They said they can't hear. You can hear. I can hear you. Is this better? I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah. Okay,
better than your old. Yeah, you sound great, man. It sounds much better.
Yay. I had a little team meeting with my subscribe stars and patrons today. And they said they're missing the old mic. This one is too fancy. They miss the old bushy one.
They want it's like popping and exploding every 2 seconds.
Exactly, that one.
No, they'll adapt. They'll get used to the new mic.
Hope so.
All right, let me. But everybody, I don't think Bobby's perspective needs any introduction to the show. He's been here a few times before. I think you were my first guest ever on the show. We did a live stream through Google Hangouts back in the day. I think we were both vegan at the time. Then we did one where I was eating meat for like a few weeks, and then I had you on. You were still vegan. You were like, no, Drew. You don't know what you're talking about. Nah, that's not how it went down. And then, like, you know, time has progressed. And obviously, you've become a massive personality on YouTube. And a lot of people here know who you are and are here for you. So let's just get into it, because I've been on your show many times and we kind of know what we're about.
Easy. I'm sure we're going to find something to talk about or criticize. I'm sure it's going to be a fun episode. And yes, it's true. You were one of my first, if not the first guest as well. This is how it all started, man. We are OGs in this game. Drew and me, we've been here, done that for the past years, man. Vegan or not, ex-vegan, carnivore, all of that stuff. How's everybody doing in the chat? Hello.
The chat is riled up right now. We're talking EMF. I'm anti-EMF. How do you feel about that? Let's just get right into it, Bobby. How do you feel about EMF? Sure.
I'm not too convinced myself, man. I read an article about a school, and allegedly kids got cancer because of some sort of telephone post, and now the telephone post has to be removed. I don't know how they proved that it was the telephone post. How do they know that it was the post and not the food or whatnot? I don't know. I have my friend, very good friend of mine, love the guy, but he will always tell me that he cannot hold his phone to his head. It's impossible. He needs to talk with a headset. Otherwise, he gets headaches. I don't know, man. I don't buy it. But I don't buy many other things either. I don't buy that you have to eat only raw meat. I don't buy that gluten intolerance is so widespread. I don't buy many of those things.
I'm not buying any of it, Bobby. It's all bullshit.
Right?
Everybody, okay, so, like, there's a thing now where just people want to have like some sensitivity to everything. Like, I want to deny that sensitivity. I want to, if anything, I'm going down with the ship saying it's not affecting me, because I want to be tougher. I don't want to be some little gluten intolerant bitch, you know?
Right on, man. If anything, it even toughens your immune system. You want to have a resilience to it, right? You want to be EMF proof, gluten proof. So more of that stuff. I'm it all
EMF
in. Proof. Get it all in.
Well, they said they're part of the EMF, like EMFers. I said, well, I'm going to start calling you the electro motherfuckers, because you guys are a problem, dude. Drew grew up under power lines. Screw you guys.
Sounds good.
So
anyways, man. Hey, I think we should start it off controversial. Why not? I heard you had a little dispute or some sort of ghosting action with Frank Tufano. Is that true?
Oh yes. Okay. So basically people have been wanting him to come on the stream, and I wanted him as a guest as well. I have nothing against Frank. I think his information is good. I think he's more knowledgeable than most people in this space. He definitely knows a lot more about the nitty-gritty vitamin, mineral deficiency details than I do, for sure. I don't buy what he's saying about people stealing his material, like Paul Saladino. I don't even think Paul Saladino knows who he is. But so that's another topic, but I would get to that in a stream with him. But yeah, so if he comes on, which he's gonna come on. Let's be honest, you guys know Frank's gonna get on the show. I'm gonna get him. Don't worry. But so he ignored me a lot in his live streams. I would come in there. I'm like, hey, what's up, Frank? His whole audience is like, oh, Drew's here. They're all pumped. And he's just like ignoring swaths of comments, people tagging me and reading it in his stream. I'm like, this dickhead, you know? And so I finally get a hold of him. I email him like a couple times or something, or he told me to email him. So I was like, perfect. Emailed him. He's like, your associates are people that I don't get along with. I don't know like what your intention is, basically. As I wrote him a whole nice email. I was like, hey, dude, these are the topics I want to cover. I was very upfront about it. I said, just because I know who you're talking about, just because Tristan might make fun of you, like, I don't partake in that. I don't engage in that. Like, Tristan goes way overboard, and he loves to do it when I'm talking to him too, because he wants to get me involved in it. And I get it. It's funny. Like, it is funny, but I don't go out of my way to add to fire, So, I just told him that. I was like, hey man, like, I'm going to give you your fair shot. Like, I want to talk to you on my stream for true value purposes type of thing. And I meant that. And he goes, okay, sounds good. I'm in. So a couple weeks went by, like 3 weeks. And I said, hey man, you're really heating up right now. Like, you're dropping bombs on your videos. I've got my channel going hardcore right now. I'm interviewing all these people. Like, now is the time. Let's get you on. And he goes, sorry, you don't get to play both sides. That's what he says to me. And it pissed me off. I was like, what is this guy talking about? So I immediately responded back, like, excuse me? No response. And then the next day, he puts out the video about the Elise Cargill shill people, Illuminati bullshit. And so I go and I link him that. I said, is this what you're talking about? Like, I thought he was blocking me from the interview because I'm associated with these people. And I'm like, dude, I don't even talk to these people at this moment, you know? So you're tripping for no reason. And no response. And so I heard somebody else, one of my viewers went in there and said, hey, what's the deal with you not going on and speaking with Drew? And so he responded to them and he said he had an inside tip, somebody that he knows, an inside tip that I'm going to try and expose him for something. And he couldn't risk it. Like, what are you talking about? What inside tip?
Man, I think that Frank Tufano, and I'm going to say that as nicely as I can, but I believe that this young man is very paranoid and has real psychological issues. I do think that he believes there is a conspiracy against him. Yeah. I see him shutting down all the doors in the carnivore community. And nobody ever attacked him first. That never happened. Tristan was super nice to him. He hosted his debates. He moderated everything. He was on his side, right? It was Frank Tufano that started attacking him. It was Frank Tufano that started attacking Sean Baker. It was Frank Tufano that started attacking Alice, Tim Sheaf, and in the end, you, and now me as well, right? This is a premiere here, guys. I'm going to tell you that. Maybe not the whole story, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. Frank Tufano sent me an email as well, out of nowhere. I never had any contact with him other than on Facebook. We exchanged a couple of messages where he asked me if I can put all my Earthling ad videos together so he can send a link to his audience. So I said, just link my playlist if you like it so much. Never responded, but linked my playlist, right? After all. Okay, thanks for sharing. That was it. Since then, nothing. Out of a sudden, I see this little mail in my inbox. Frank Tufano. All right. I checked if it was the real mail. Yes, it was. And in the email, no hello, no hi, no hey, how are you doing, Bobby? Nothing. But check this out, guys. I've been uploading for 3 years at the exact same time. Do you want me to mesh you in with the carnivores and the Cargill carnivores? That's it. So I respond, like the gentleman that I am. I don't understand. Can you please explain? He never got back to me. And now, out of a sudden, I'm the enemy as well. And out of a sudden, there's this huge conspiracy. I'm a Cargill carnivore. Living in Macedonia, I'm a Cargill carnivore. I never heard of Cargill before that, man. I
haven't heard of Cargill either. But of course, we would say that. We would say that as shills, Bobby. You know that.
Yeah, true. That is true. There you have it, exposed. Anyways, this is how it started. And what I'm saying is here, I heard from a viewer of his and mine that he started a second channel, some sort of conspiracy channel, apparently. I don't know about that. And it just shows the character that everybody that he has a personal issue with, he puts into this conspiracy plot, which is a made-up lie. Simple as that. Sean Baker has an affiliate link to ButcherBox. So do I. Wow. Paid shills. Alice, paid shill. Everybody, right?
Yeah.
Just because they either didn't want to collaborate with him, or actually they did, and he started talking shit about them. That is Frank Tufano. And if he continues with that, I'm glad to show those emails and set the record straight. And I'm always available. You can talk to me. No worries.
Well, I think, okay, so it's either one of two things in my head. And again, I still invite Frank openly on my channel, and everything I talk about today, I would say to him on my stream if he were to come on. I have no problem with this. This is public,
Good.
Right? Like, this stream will be saved for life, so it doesn't matter. My situation here is that I think he's either, number one, people made a good point. They said he's chronically underslept because of his insomnia issues. So dude, undersleeping is something I'm not familiar with because I sleep 8 to 9 hours a night for the past 5 years. I don't really miss any sleep. But the odd day that it does happen, let's say I stay up really late and I have to be up kind of early the next morning and I get maybe 5-6 hours, I definitely feel more irritable and kind of grumpy, like a baby. You know, when a baby is trying to go to sleep, they're crying. You know, they're not happy. So again, I think that this could play into that if that's the case. That's number one. And number two, he's either doing it just for pure drama purposes and growing his channel that way. I explained. Well, I think him and Vegan Gains have a huge parallel in their who they represent in the community. Like Frank Tufano is the Vegan Gains of the carnivores, in my opinion.
I haven't watched his channel, to be honest. I don't really know. I haven't seen any of his content for the last 4 or 5 months.
He's all about the research. Okay, he's all about the research, and he stands behind everything about research. Where's the study? Number two, he does basically bashing videos of vegans nonstop. That's like a huge part of it. I know you do that too, but you also are doing like other original content as well. Like, okay, Frank is talking about studies, he's talking about bashing vegans, and then he does live streams by himself where he doesn't interview anybody, bring anybody on. He's not willing to talk to these vegans as far as I know. They're all shills. Everybody's out there and he's in here in this little box. Nobody can touch me type of thing, you know? And Vegan Gains made his huge audience off of shit talking meat eaters and fitness people. And it's funny because he's shocked that there's people that don't like him. Like when somebody makes a video about Vegan Gains, he's legitimately blown away that there's people out there that don't like him as a person or a personality. And I see that same thing with Frank Tufano. Like if you're gonna build an audience of whatever Frank has, 67,000 subscribers, of these sort of like people that are attracted to that kind of content, then you got to be willing to take what comes with it. Don't be a crybaby. If you build hater content and you build a big ass audience about it, you're going to get that kind of energy in your comment section, in your live streams, people making videos about you. You have to be willing to accept it. Just it's part of the it's part of the program.
It comes with the territory. What do you expect? Yes. But this is what I see with be it Vegan Gains or Frank Tufano. Again, I want to keep it as simple as possible and not talk about him until we talked face to face, quote unquote.
Right.
But I see a very self-obsessed personality there. He's self-obsessed, narcissistic as it comes, and he will do anything in order to grow his own channel. This is how I see it. And he has no interest in really collaborating or communicating with the rest of this community. Because for Frank Tufano, it appears there's only his way, right? If you don't do it like him, you do it wrong. You talked about this as well. Sean Baker, for example, will say, hey, if you don't have the money, eat conventional meat. That is that, right? What you're going to do? You have to live somehow. If you don't have the money for the grass-fed meat, eat the corn-fed meat. Frank Tufano will tell you that it's all about his way of sourcing, those organ meats, this percentage of raw and cooked and whatnot. It is not. There are many different ways work. It's not only your way. And this is what turned me off back then from his content. Very entitled.
I agree with that. And I also would say on top of that, it's like the Goji Man effect where the person who's preaching it is not getting their own results. Like the results that they preach is not what they're achieving. Like Frank has issues still. He's got lifelong issues with sleeping and he's got certain deficiencies that he's public about. I mean, I'm glad he's public about that information, but it also kind of discredits his whatever he's preaching. Yeah, his approach. Yeah. His approach is not working for him. So,
man, if I wouldn't know it better, I would say he's a vegan. Honestly, if I would have never seen his diet, I would say he's a vegan.
He did say that I heard him say on his stream recently that he is more aligned with the vegans on YouTube than he is with the carnivores. He says you can't trust a single carnivore.
Very nice.
Yeah, anybody who was vegan that is now a carnivore, he's like, can you really trust that person? Can you really trust them? They were a vegan shill, and now they're a carnivore shill. Bro, Frank, you want to pay for a lie detector test, okay, bro? I will live stream me on a lie detector test, and you can ask the questions about all the people that I know that I'm associated with, and I will pass this with flying colors, and then you will have to issue a public apology to every single one of those people saying that you were fucking wrong. And I will do it in that case because he's the type of drama that's coming out of him is just stupid. It's dumb. It's not even like juicy, deep drama. It's really dumb drama.
He got motivated by the mysterious case of Earthling Ed. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but it's true. He really liked the series. He liked the conspiratorial vibe. He wanted to go down the same route within the carnivore community. And instead of exposing vegans like I did with Earthling Ed, he wants to expose the carnivores. But there is nothing to expose. That's the point of the story. There is literally nothing. So therefore, he's making up shit. And he's blaming people that he personally do not like or is jealous of. That is all, man. It is all made up, all fabricated. There is no Edward Gaunt in this. It is all a story that he spins himself. Yep, that's it. That's Frankie.
Yeah, and as you wanted to you mentioned the narcissism. I think a lot of that, I kind of see through that. I think a lot of that he does play up, and I think that he does that to troll his own audience, and I get that. But when you have a community that is, you're trolling them, they're trolling you, that's not creating a foundation for actual knowledge. And if you want to be taken seriously by serious players, you're going to be viewed as a basically a comedian or like a joke type of channel. There's a right place and a wrong place to do this stuff. And if you're constantly trolling, then people aren't going to believe anything you say. So your real information is going to get mixed in with your joking information, because he openly says it, like, oh guys, I'm messing with you. Like, I'm doing this. And Frank, do whatever you want. Grow your numbers how you want. But I don't see that path working out long term. Like, he wants to be on the Joe Rogan show. You know, this is a known thing. He's pissed off that people get on the Joe Rogan show. Why would military veteran Sean Baker, who's in his 50s, who's a well-known surgeon, MD, badass, go on the Joe Rogan show before me? Like, you don't think that his credentials maybe stack up to yours a little bit more, Frank? Like, you really going to be upset about that? It's really weird.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine that episode, Frank Tufano and the Joe Rogan Experience, what they would talk about.
Dude, he blew his opportunities, man. When he had the big debates with Vegan Gains, he had 3 chances at that. He fucked it up every time. He came in with this weird outfit, did some weird intro, did all this weird intro. What's that?
The Bruce Buffer intro. Remember that one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What the fuck?
I mean, he had the opportunity there to shine, you know, and burn Vegan Gains down. And now he basically gave the loss to the entire carnivore community versus Vegan Gains.
Only if you identify with him being part of the carnivore community. He already distanced himself, man. He is his own little community, and that is that. And about him with the narcissism, I see that he's making certain jokes, and sometimes it is exaggerated for sure. But I truly believe that he believes his own bullshit and that he is in love with his persona. 100%. Frankie's meat. Frankie's meat.
Frankie's meat.
Buddy.
Frankie's meat. Frankie's ball grease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit too homoerotic for me.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Okay, so let's switch gears here, because I've given Frank a lot of airtime the past couple streams. But yeah, the audience apparently is understanding of this. So, anyways.
For sure. He'll be watching anyways, so public statement here. I'm still open to talk to you personally. It is a bitch move to write me a cryptic email and never get back to me without saying hello. That is not the fine etiquette. This is not very gentleman-like. If you want to conduct yourself professionally and talk to me man to man, you can always do that. Everything else is just made up BS clarified here on the stream. Bye-bye.
I'm with that. I back that statement 100%.
Cool.
All right. So, yeah. Where are we at, Bobby? Where's what should we get into today? Because I always message you in the sidelines regarding, carbs and stuff. We have our little conversations about, the bodybuilding stuff surrounding carnivore, which is still fascinating to me, and the journey that I'm kind of pursuing right now. And I'm making gains, but as you know, it's not as easy as when you're doing meat and carbs.
For sure.
And what do you think that comes down to? Like, why is that so effective to add in carbohydrates and dose that for muscle gain specifically?
Okay, let's talk about this. And then after that, just remind me of it. I would like to talk about the experiment that you might go down to that you sent me via Instagram, right? After this.
Yes. Perfect.
So about carbs, protein, fats, the combination of carbs and proteins, why is it so effective? It is so effective because you have a huge insulin response after eating carbohydrates, insulin being the most anabolic hormone there is. People think that testosterone is very anabolic. Yes, it is. People think that human growth hormone is very anabolic. Yes, it is. But insulin is super anabolic. It binds everything. So therefore, it transports the glucose into your muscle and it transports the amino acids into your muscle as well. And that is an amazing matrix to have. There is a good reason if you use creatine as a supplement, you go through the loading phase and you use it with carbohydrates, simple sugars. So it gets bind into your muscle. It is just a much more anabolic pathway. That is that. Does that mean you cannot build muscle in a huge caloric surplus? Yes, you can. You can do it with fats and proteins as well, ketogenic type style, but go through neoglucogenesis and overeat. We talked about this, I think, on the last stream. I'm not too sure. If you want to eat, let's say, twice the amount of protein, then you can go through that. And if you look at Sean Baker, I think he said something like 6 pounds of meat or so he had yesterday.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes. 6 pounds of meat. And that makes sense. If you eat 6 pounds of meat, that is almost 3 kilograms of meat.
Yeah.
3 kilograms of meat, man. That is ridiculous. So that is around about 600 grams of protein. There you go. At least. Maybe even more. 650 grams of protein. And this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you're doing regular bodybuilding, you need 2 grams of protein per body weight kilogram. You're a 100 kilogram athlete, that adds up to 200 grams of protein, not 650, right? Yeah. But if you go through gluconeogenesis, sure, then you eat 650 grams of protein, and that is doable. However, is that really feasible for you? I don't think that most people on a budget, even corn fat, 3 kilos of meat every day, man.
I can't eat that, man. I eat 2 pounds a day. I'm maxed out. That's a lot of meat. That's less than 1 kilo, man. And I'm getting 250 grams already a day of protein. It's a lot of protein. Exactly. So I'm not short on protein. That's for sure.
No, you're not in the context of combining that with carbohydrates. However, if you're not combining it with carbohydrates and you want to gain mass, then you're too low on protein. Because again, you have this missing link of the conversion rate. And for me personally, it's a simple equation. I would like to do what is cost effective and what is all right for my gut without eating 3 kilograms of meat. It's simple, right?
Yeah.
However, the problem is every time I try to incorporate carbohydrates, I really damage myself with veganism. That is just what it is. And I take full responsibility for it. That is my own issue. However, my digestion does not feel right if I incorporate too many carbohydrates. The best carb for me is honey, hands down. Even bananas are not fantastic. White rice is so and so. Even white bread works better than white rice. But everything gets trumped by honey. So a basic carnivore diet with the addition of honey does the job for me at the moment. That is the best case scenario. But not necessarily because that is better or not. It is just for my personal digestion. That is all. Otherwise, I would incorporate white rice with not even worrying about it for a second. Yeah, that is that.
Perfect. Yeah. So do you think that, let's say 20 to 25 grams of carbohydrate with each meal is going to be enough to do the spike, or that's going to be worthwhile? Or because, for instance, I drink milk with my meals, and I have noticed since incorporating the milk again that for sure there's a bit of gaining going on now. I've changed my training a little bit too, but I mean, how much different do you really think the same days in the gym are? It's the same hour of work. It's the same, you know what I'm saying? Like the training can't be the end all be all. I was working out hard before. I did change my training to a little bit higher volume, but that can't be, it's probably the milk, the fact that I'm drinking another 600 calories a day.
For sure. Yeah. The weight gain itself won't come through the gym. The gym, if anything, is more about perfecting the body, right? And attacking more the delts, more into the biceps and whatnot. It's not really about gaining size per se. Sure, compound movements help. However, it is all through calories, right? If you're not gaining weight, you're not eating enough. Therefore, milk, 600 additional calories will help. However, milk sugar is not so ideal as a glycogen transport to the muscle. It's not that effective. And this is why many people see a blurriness in their physique. When they eat too much milk sugar, it kind of blurs you out because the water gets stored subcutaneously and not so much in your glycogen. And therefore, starches will deliver better results. That is basically what it boils down to. Any starch, any glucose-containing carbohydrate source will always be better. Milk does the job, but not ideally.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Very
a good additive, but not a carb source.
We got a little super chat here. Bill McPherson. Drew, have you looked at Louis Villaseñor's keto gains? I have. Do you know who that is, Bobby?
No.
He's a keto athlete that is like in his late 40s, I think. And dude is fantastic on any scale. Like, he looks amazing. He's jacked. He deadlifts over 500 at like late 40s. He's only like 5'7" or something like that. And should I pull him up real quick? It's not necessary. But anyways, yeah, he looks amazing, and he's very powerful as well. He's been doing keto for like 10 plus years or something. And he is making gains.
Yeah, I do not doubt that at all. So the thing is this, I do not doubt that you can make gains on keto. I've seen it as well. And that was actually in Thailand, in the Muscle Factory. There was a mass monster. The guy was, I would say, 5'10", and he weighed at least 130 kilograms. I think that's well over 260 pounds, right? Something on those lines. Huge, jacked, on steroids, the whole deal, right? Yeah. But he was going periodically through ketogenic phases for bulking as well. And that guy was eating almost 1 kilogram of protein per day. Not meat, 1 kilogram of protein.
So 1,000 grams?
1,000 grams. Yes. Exactly. And this is what it took for him, right? So it was more protein than fat. And therefore, you cannot even call it a ketogenic diet. I'm interested in this guy's results, and I would like to hear how he eats. Because eating carnivorous or eating fat and protein doesn't imply that you will eat ketogenic, right? Ketogenic would be 80% fat and 20% protein. And if that works for him, that will be a miracle, in my opinion.
Well, I asked Kate this the other day, and I also did a little research on this guy, Dr. Darren Schmidt. One of my viewers told me to check this guy out. And they said, basically, he's a expert, apparently, in ketogenesis. And he says that the only thing that matters for keto, whether you're in ketosis or not, is the absence of carbohydrates. It has nothing to do with how much fat or protein you eat. You could eat a shitload of protein, more than fat, and you would still be in ketosis if your carbohydrate is low enough. We're talking like less than 20 grams a day, he says, is ideal. So I don't know.
My anecdotal experience goes against that. If you can trust those little piss stripes, you pee on them, those keto sticks, I don't know how you call them, and then you check if you're in ketosis. And every time I had a major input of protein, I would see that I wouldn't be in ketosis. So for me, it was really important to eat much more fat than protein in order to stay in ketosis. Even fasted was better than eating a lot of protein. It would kick me out of ketosis every single time. So I don't know what he refers to. No.
Yeah.
That's just my experience.
That's what he says, and that's not what I've heard for the years. Most of the time, what I've heard is that people have to almost overeat what they want based on the fat macro because they want to get the ketones pumping. So if your goal is deep ketosis, what I've heard from many people is that you need to eat a lot more fat to make that happen. People are almost overeating on fat in order to make the ketones happen. And they're like, you get into this situation where you're not losing weight anymore, and a lot of these people have weight to lose.
No, I agree. Absolutely, man. Because if you look at protein, it can have a insulin response. If you consume, I believe it was a threshold of at least 20 grams or so. Even if you go over 20 grams, there's already an insulin response, right? And therefore, absolutely, every time you overeat protein, you will get kicked out of ketosis. I've seen that with many people, myself included. So yeah. Anyways, the point of the story is I'm saying you can build muscle without carbs, no worries, but you will have to overeat. And that is up to you then, if you want to do that or not. It is, if you can digest it, which normal people can do, then just eat rice with it. That's it. If you don't have any digestive issues with it, why would you exclude rice? It's super simple to gain weight with rice. And there's a reason why you have corn-fed cows, for example, right? Yeah, they get bigger, they get fatter. Grains work. Grains for gains will always work. It is what it is.
Grains for gains. Earlier this year, when I was doing all the calisthenics in my garage, that whole experiment, I was consuming rice on a fairly frequent basis compared to now. I was eating now my diet is more carnivore than ever. But back then I was eating like I would go to this restaurant and get this kebab meal every few days because I was obsessed with it. And it would have a huge plate of rice with the Turkish lavash bread on the side. So I was eating like tons of carbs every 3 or 4 days, and I was talking about this. And man, like it was a noticeable difference. Like you wake up the next morning and you look like you gain 3 pounds overnight because your body's swollen. It has that round, puffy in a good way type of look. And swole. Now, you look swole. You feel swole. You look swole. You get a pump. It's like it looks like you got a water balloon in your bicep. And so it was a very different experience than compared to now, where I'm eating even more carnivore and clean carnivore than ever with milk. Still, I was doing milk back then too, by the way. So it's the same comparison.
Still carnivore. That's right.
Still carnivore.
Here comes the real
we got
thing.
another
Look at the texture of this thing.
thoughts on insects and slugs for gains. We'll get to that in a second, Horatio. That's a funny question. So the cricket powder. Anyway, so we'll get to that in a second. But I feel like if I were to do rice, let's say rice with 2 meals a day, even a little bit, just for the insulin spike, I think that I would gain a lot. I'm almost ready to just call it quits and just do that because I'm putting in the time in the gym. I am making some progress here, but the size is not coming with it. I'm not gaining weight at the pace that I should for the amount of meat that I'm eating and for the amount of work that I'm putting in. So
As I said many times, man, the carnivore diet is absolutely beautiful, especially for ex-vegans that fucked up their digestion, right? For me, the carnivore diet was the holy grail. It is what it is. And every single time when I have digestive issues because I overate plants, I go back to full carnivore for a couple of days. That is just what I do. This is how I cope with my wrecked gut, right? But this is only due to me having a wrecked gut. If we're talking about bodybuilding, no, the vegan diet is not better for bodybuilding. I don't care what John Venus will tell you. No, the carnivore diet is not better for bodybuilding. The best diet for bodybuilding is rice and meat. And that has been proven for 100 years. That is what it is. So we can debate this, we can talk about this. Meanwhile, bodybuilders sitting there, 150 kilos, they're laughing at this dialogue because they already know what works. Jonathan Irizarry, good friend of mine, and he was on your stream as well. He is an IFBB bodybuilder. He tried it all, man. He went vegan. He tried the raw vegan thing, fasting. He went carnivore, snake diet, 1 meal a day, all of it. What is he eating now? Protein pancakes, right? Chicken sandwich. Because it works. That is what works. I'm not saying that's the healthiest. It isn't. Absolutely not. If you have an issue with eating grains, you think it's not human food, then don't eat them. If you have digestive upset like here, yours truly, don't eat them. But for bodybuilding, there is nothing better than rice and meat. That's it. Always has been that way, always will be. Period.
We got a couple comments about this. I'm gonna lump these comments in, and we'll get to the super chat because these comments are directly about what we're saying right now. Abyss says the swole look isn't muscle or fat; it's water. If you use rice or honey for gains, you'll run into all kinds of other issues. Lady NYC says grains messed up my digestion worse than some veggies. We got people saying grains are the worst. We're not talking about this being optimal for health. Like, if you were not concerned with bodybuilding whatsoever. Oh, and I got another comment here. Drew has a body image issue with his current size is fine. Guys, no.
Body dysmorphia.
Let's get something straight here. I like the way that I look right now. I like the way I look regardless. Okay? If anything, I have overconfidence. Okay? I like the journey and the understanding of the mechanics of the body. I like going to the gym and seeing that this exercise puts this kind of muscle on and this kind of strength on. I like being in there by myself with it's probably the only time of the day where I have no connection to other people. My headphones are blasting and I'm in my body just focusing on the mechanics of how the body moves. I like that shit. And Bobby, you've been a bodybuilder.
Good, man.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Feels good, bro. Feels good.
It feels good. It's enjoyable. Like, I like that repetitive motion. You know, I always talk about this. It's meditation. Like, I used to play golf a lot. I realized I didn't even like playing golf. I liked going to the driving range. I like swinging and hitting the ball. That when you nail it perfectly, there's a certain feeling that you get, and you're like, oh, I did it right, and you just keep ingraining that, and there's a pleasure associated with it. So, anyways, the super chat, we got to honor the super chat. It says thoughts on insects and slugs for gains. What do you think, Bobby?
I watched a YouTube video, and if I'm not mistaken, the channel's name, little shout out here, was Ethno-Vegan or Ento-Vegan. Ento-Vegan. That's it. And Ento-Vegan was criticizing all the other vegans because they all did it wrong, again, because they didn't eat the bugs, right? So veganism works as long as you eat insects. That was the ideology behind it. So now, do I think that is better than regular vegan? Yes, for sure. If you go to Thailand, you will see they eat insects on a daily basis. But it was a poor man's food. It's quite interesting. If you look into this experience of life, we as humans, we kind of pride ourselves in getting the biggest catch, right? If you catch a big fish, that is awesome. If you can hunt down a buffalo, bison, that is pretty impressive. So the lower you go down, it's poor man's food, right? Until you reach the vegetables. So therefore, insects are poor man's food. In Thailand, it always was like that. And therefore, because they didn't have any money, they had to perfect the recipes and make the insects taste good. They fried them, sauces and whatnot. And nowadays, it became just part of the culture. But again, it is a peasant dish. So now, for gains, yeah, sure, you can eat them. No worries. But I wouldn't just rely on insects for gains because you do not have to, right? You have red meat, which is a true superfood. Like, why would I trade my steak for a cricket? Doesn't make sense. That's my point. But other than that, yeah, it's good. You can eat it. You can eat crickets. You can eat chicken. You can eat meat. You can eat all kinds of animals. Yes.
Okay, so I think we've covered this a reasonable amount. I think my final statement on it that I will say is I'm trying one more thing, guys, regarding this because my weight is going up just too slow. I know what should happen with what Bobby's talking about, the rice and the meat. And
sure.
I'm willing to try one more step. I'm going to start drinking a big glass of milk before bed, and that'll basically be like a mini fourth meal for me. And if that works, great. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to adapt and pop on to the maybe 1 or 2 cups of rice with each meal. I will enjoy the flavor, to be honest with you. I won't be upset about it. I can bring my meat down a little bit because eating 1 pound of steak is great. It tastes good. I enjoy it. But guys, I am so overly satisfied. I'm having trouble getting 3 meals in a day because when I eat a pound for lunch at 1 or 2 p.m., which is when I naturally like to eat lunch, I'm not hungry until 8 or 9 p.m. sometimes. Sometimes I almost miss dinner because I don't want to cook at 10 o'clock at night and make another steak. So it comes down to practicality as well. And I know people don't want to hear that. They're like, but the carnivore, like, this is the way you're going to become one of those African tribal leader badasses with the 6-pack just by eating the meat. That is not the way it works, man. When I eat pure carnivore, we're talking like no milk even, just saltwater meat. Dude, I will lose weight. I can't even stuff enough into there. So
Possible. Same here. Every time I'm 100% carnivore, my girlfriend gets very, very upset with me because she says my face gets sunken in every time I do it. It is what is happening. And you don't have any water retention, which, of course, is healthy. You don't want to have too much water retention. But for me, I just slimmed down completely. So my question to you, Drew, why not honey as a next experiment? Why don't you add honey, raw honey to your milk?
I'll stop there. Oh, sorry, I'll start there. I'll do the milk. That's it. I'm done. I will do the milk before bed. Yeah. The reason why, here's why my thing with honey is it's very acidic, and I'm fearful of messing my teeth up.
Yep.
And the other thing too is it's very sugary. It's like straight sugar. So there's another guy I follow on YouTube. His name's Erik Bugan. He's a badass. He's an ex-wrestler, collegiate wrestler.
Yeah.
He's
I know the guy.
Cool. If you guys don't follow Erik, he eats he eats honey, he promotes drinking a gallon of milk a day, and he promotes doing garlic. And the guy is jacked. I mean, he's like, he could potentially be on steroids, but he looks great and he's strong, like super strong. So, yeah, people are saying it's going to be all water weight and this and that. Well, Abyss, just chill, bro. It's an experiment. I am the only honest person on YouTube. No, I will let you know what is happening. All right, just chill out. So here's the thing that people understand. When I'm talking about my weight not moving, I'm talking about I went carnivore at 148 pounds and I'm still 146 pounds this year. Like a whole year goes by and I'm working out pretty consistently the entire time. I should probably have 10 to 20 pounds of extra mass on me right now.
You cannot
based
say
on
that,
how
Drew.
much.
And all the vegans will say we have no gains.
We have no
just
gains.
Admit it.
Well, I am objectively stronger than I was when I left veganism, and my soy boobies are gone. So I'm very happy about that. But so one last comment about this bodybuilding thing. How is John Venus doing it? How is this guy doing it? Because he does have gains. He is the guy right now.
Yes, he does have gains. How old is he? I would like to know. 28?
No, I think he's a little bit older. I think he's 30, something like that, right? Anybody know how old John Venus is?
Or was it his brother that was 28? I just heard that number. I don't know if it was Leo or John. But anyways, he's still
everybody's like
reasonably
steroids.
Young.
Everybody just says steroids. No, guys.
I don't think so.
32, they said.
32? Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. I wouldn't say he's using steroids. I mean, he lied before, right? So maybe he's lying about the steroids as well. That's what people say. I'm not on that team, man. You know, I'm not going to blame him for roids. I don't think he's on. However, I'm going to say he has great genetics, and that is what is saving him. But there is one thing, one distinct factor that you can always observe with all the vegans. There are a couple of vegans that got into veganism through bodybuilding, and they had great physiques prior to that as well. And now they're vegan for, let's say, 4 years, some of them 5. And their physiques still look pretty good, just like John. However, you can see it in the face. The face is sunken and it's not the same. So if you check pictures from John, let's say 2-3 years ago, you just see so much more meat in the face. That is the most important aspect that I observe with so many so-called vegan bodybuilders. Even if they genetically can keep their muscle, their face won't lie and tells a different story every single time. So therefore, my best guess here, he will keep veganism for a year, maybe even 2. He will bang it out to the bitter end. But at one point, there is a threshold that is reached and he cannot stay vegan. It is not a human diet and he will keep on suffering. He already slipped with the eggs. It will happen again, 100%. So therefore, I wouldn't take any advice of him or any word that he's saying right now serious, because I know he's going to be an ex-vegan. That's just what it is. I had to laugh when I was talking to him and Tristan, and he told me that he would adjust my diet. Sure, my diet, man. My diet was perfected. There is no chance in hell anybody could come up with a better formula for bodybuilding. The only reason why he has a presentable physique is his genetics. And that's great for him. That is it. But that will fade. That's my statement on John.
Yeah, I think that's a very expert and well thought out thing. I've also noticed the face, and sometimes you really see, I mean, he posts pictures. The thing with John is he posts pictures currently and previously, like, let's say 3, 4, 6 months ago. He intertwines all these pictures. You never know where his physique is currently at. Sometimes he'll post pictures where he's lean and he looks just shredded down. You're like, damn, was that recent? Like, when did that happen? And then he'll post another picture the next day, like dad bod, and you're just like, you get into this thing with him where you just have no idea what he really looks like. And I posted pictures of the way he looked before he went vegan, and he was freaking more shredded and better looking back then, in my opinion, from an aesthetic perspective, than he has ever looked as a vegan. Sure, he's gotten bigger, and maybe he has indeed gotten stronger, but he has never matched that lean, chiseled physique that he had back then. With the same size on him. It hasn't happened yet.
Absolutely not. And that is due to the insulin sensitivity. That happens when you're just eating carbohydrates all the time. And yeah, I know vegans will tell me, but plants have protein, blah, blah, blah. Point of the story is it is all super high in carbohydrates. Therefore, you are on a high glycemic diet by default, especially with those berry smoothies that he eats and the Vivo protein powders and this and that. It's just a terrible way of eating. You will not be able to get that
And here
chiseled
comes a real
look
steak.
that you can
But
achieve with
just
a
look at the
low
texture
carb
of this
meat-based
thing.
diet. It is what it is, man. And yet again, the only reason why he still stands is his genetics. Just today, I watched another ex-vegan. She was vegetarian, vegan for 20 years. 20 years vegetarian / pescatarian, and then 4 years vegan, now a carnivore. It is what it is. Some people can do it longer, some people shorter, but they will break. That's just it. You cannot go without meat. Man, I went without real steak for quite some time, and I was eating more fish, more eggs just to see how I react. When I had my first steak, dude, my body was just screaming, yes, finally I got my food in. Finally I feel normal again. That's just what it is, man. When you're abstaining from animal foods, you're abstaining from your natural diet, and that is human cruelty. Nobody can sustain that. It's impossible.
Yeah, I've said about the magic grass-fed steak as well. Like when you have that for the first time, and even to this day, if I have a very good high-quality grass-fed steak, I don't know if it's the mineral content or what's in there, but there's a immediately after the meal. We're not talking hours later. There's this euphoric feeling that develops. It's immediately after you eat it that you get this sense of calmness and almost like a tingling feeling going on in your brain and your fingertips. Like you feel good. You feel good right away.
Yeah.
Vegans don't believe that. You know, they're not going to hear that, but it is what it is. We got another little $2 super chat here. It says best physique, Super Saiyan Goku versus Frieza, whoever that is. I don't know.
What? You're not watching Dragon Ball, Drew?
I don't watch Dragon Ball Z, man. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Jesus.
It's from another era, man. I'm 34, guys.
I'm 32.
See, you got Dragon Ball Z. I watched Power Rangers as a kid.
Me too. Now, I read all the Dragon Ball books, so it's 42 mangas. It's not comics, it's mangas, Japanese. All 42 back to back, man. I read them for the past 20 years or so. I think I read them 1,000 times at least. Watched the animes, all of that. So I don't understand the question. Is it who has the best physique? Is it Frieza or Goku? Or is it at that era, which is the best physique? Because, yeah, I would say that Super Saiyan Goku has a better physique than Frieza.
I think that's the standard, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what motivated me back in bodybuilding days. I want to look like Goku. So 100%. I go for Goku.
There you go. I only know who Goku is, so I'm going to have to go with that.
Man, you have to read those mangas. They're amazing.
Do they have I know they have cartoon version of it, so that's probably would be my preferred source of intake.
It's not as good, but either way.
Okay, so we touch on Venus. I wanted to also ask you about Vegetable Police, because regarding the steak, I think that was the first time you had steak. Was it with him in Thailand? Was that when that went down?
Yeah, that's interesting. I just talked to my patrons about this today. And yes, that was the first time that I had steak and raw meat at the first time, basically, after 4 years of veganism, right? Mm-hmm. That was with Vegetable Police at the airport. I will never forget that. We met at the airport in Bangkok, went to the food court, and we're surrounded by all of those Thai people, right? And they're eating with their chopsticks. They have noodle soups and whatnot. And there he is, Vegetable Police, this little Canadian guy, takes his backpack, opens it up, and just slaps those pounds of raw meat onto the table, and we start fighting. It was so ridiculous, man. I don't know how they left us there. Yeah, point of story is that's the first time that I ate it there. And yeah, since then, man, I haven't looked back. It was definitely needed in my diet. Let's just put it like that. Fish helps tremendously. Eggs help. But red meat is where it's at. There is nothing that is more satiating, and nothing feels more like food. Because lately I've been observing animals. We have a lot of cats and dogs here. And sometimes I give them some scraps of meat, and my girlfriend gave them some potatoes. And they won't touch the potatoes, right? They will still go to the meat straight away. And by observing that, I had a complete new understanding of food, and I understood this animal, this entity, will observe and analyze and smell what is good for its body, right? It is only that function, not because, it tastes good, I like Beyond Burgers. It is only about, does this have a function for me? Is it healthy for my body? And then it will eat it or not. And this effect I really observe when I'm eating only steak, because that feels like human food. When I eat a bag of chips, for example, which never happens, but you know how shit you feel afterwards.
Yeah.
That's not human food. This is why you feel bad. It's not because it's bad food. It is because it's not human food. This is why it feels bad for you. If you would eat grass, it would feel bad as well. You would puke because it's not human food. And red meat is just ideal, man. It comes with all the minerals, nutrients that you need. I mean, again, we have successful carnivores that eat only steak and burger patties, which is quite crazy. But there you have it. This is human food. This is why it feels so good. Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
I
want to talk more about it. I want to talk more about it just in... Well, I say that again?
No, you asked me about vegetable police. This is how I started this rant about red meat, right?
Yes, but so many little layers to this. I want to say this about the red meat because I agree with you, and I've observed in myself over time that I am gravitating more and more towards pure red meat as well. Like I have even now ditched my ground beef and my burger patties, or sorry, my burger buns. So I'm at the store now. I'm just buying straight steaks, like steaks and eggs and milk. That's all I'm eating, really. Of course, like last night, my brother brings home pizza, and he's like, "Hey, you want this pizza?" Like, sure, it's holidays. Like, it was my mom's birthday. They had some extra pizza. I kind of wanted to partake in the festivities. I said, "Okay, I'll eat it, no problem." But you know, on a day-to-day basis, I'm eating 2 steaks a day, and I'm drinking milk, and I'm eating eggs. That's really all that I do, and I'm satisfied with that. I'm more than satisfied with that, actually.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed that I've been dropping off of the turkey. I've been dropping off of the chicken. I've been dropping off of the fish. The stuff that I used to really want in the beginning, it's faded away off my plate, and it's an evolution of me wanting just, okay, this red meat over time has been the thing that is really delivering the awesome feeling and the results and the best digestion and the best energy. It's really what it is, man. And then another thing too, Evan Rock on the show, he was talking to me because you observed the cat choosing its food basically. And he's doing that with his daughter. He's like, yeah, man, we give her anything she wants. We have all the best ripe fruits available to her at all times. He's like, she'll just play with that shit on her plate. She'll spread it around. She'll throw it on the floor. But when you give her the meat, she eats it. She wants it. And it's a freaking 1.5-year-old, you know, she doesn't know any social constructs around animal ethics or what should taste good or anything like that. And you hear about this all the time. Kids eat, like you could feed a kid liver and it'll probably like it. But an adult who thinks that it tastes bad and over time has heard about liver, they're the ones who have this aversion to it. It's not the kids, you know, the kids are the ones who are going to be able to handle that no problem and not have any blockage around it.
Exactly. And what does that tell you? You know, if you look into that, so you have a human there and the human decides its food source without conditioning, without filtering, without any preconceived notions, without any brainwashing. That is the food of that human. That is that. And you cannot make the argument that the vegans always like to give you with the bunny rabbit and what was the apple, right? It doesn't make any sense because guess what? Babies can't even wipe their ass, man. You have to do that for them as well. So now you're going to wait for the baby to kill the rabbit? Won't happen, right? Anyways, the food source is chosen without any dogma, without any belief system. And because of that, there you have it. That is the natural diet. And not giving the natural diet to that species is abuse. Point blank. That's it. If you're not feeding your kid meat, that is child abuse. Done deal. You cannot philosophize any further than that. Every time you want to add something to it, yeah, but we have ethical implications, we have this and this. Nah, the ethical implication is to give your kid human food. That is the only ethical implication you should have in mind. That's it.
I agree with that. And there's always a natural parallel to be drawn from the thing that you just said, like how they say, well, is it going to kill the rabbit or is it going to choose to eat the apple? First of all, a baby's not going to freaking grab a raw apple and eat that anyways if it's in the crawling phases of its life. So it's a stupid ass argument to begin with. But let's take it a step further, vegans. But guess what? Birds are undeniably carnivores, right? Undeniably carnivores, like eagles, right? Guess what? Sure. The mother has multiple chicks in the bird nest. The mother goes out and kills an animal out in the wild. It eats it. It comes back to the nest and it throws up its food into the bird's mouth. That bird can't hunt on its own, yet it's eating animal foods, right? And to add another layer to this, those birds don't have teeth. They don't even have teeth, vegan. So forget about the canine argument. That kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Damn, and I got the goddamn puns, dude. Come at me, vegans. Goddamn.
The first food is an animal food anyways. Mother's milk is an animal food. I already listed all the ingredients and all the hormones, everything that you find in that animal food. That is it. It is mammalian milk. This is the first food. So how can you then make the conclusion that the next food should be chickpeas or tofu? It doesn't make sense.
I agree with you. However, I do want to be careful with that argument because I thought about that before too. And I was like, well, cows, right? And cows actually start eating grass, and deer, like the ruminant animals, they start eating grass 6 weeks in. It's a very short period of time where their digestive system is, it's developed to the point where they can eat the stuff that the adults are eating. So I find that pretty interesting. So yeah, at some point they make the shift from animal milk to grass, but again, we look at their biology, it's completely different, and yet vegans don't want to look at biology. I don't know. Anyway, so more about vegetable police, because we got off track there. And what do you think his problem is right now? Like, are you following along with his saga? He's basically vegan again?
Yeah, so from what I heard is he's not vegan. He still eats fish. Every time he does not eat fish, he feels bad. Duh. Again, that just proves my point. You need meat, you need animal foods, because that is your species-specific diet. However, I do not say that he is lying about his diet and that he doesn't feel good. I genuinely believe that he feels better the way that he is eating. I do see that he still has a huge attachment to veganism.
Yes.
And in a recent video of his, he said that if he could, he would go vegan, right? And therefore, I do believe psychologically it is better for him to be plant-based, which he is, right? He's plant-based, he's eating fish twice per week, raw, and that keeps him alive and gets him going. So be it. I believe that he is feeling better, for sure. I believe that he is feeling better than on the carnivore diet, but I do believe that it is hugely implicit that this is a psychological issue, for sure.
I agree with you 100%. Basically, that was my assessment as well. And I also think that, I mean, at least he's being honest. And I do believe what he's saying. Like, he does feel better, but he is also being honest. He's like, I basically detoxed away all the gains that I made too. Like, he looks back to the old skinny boy vegetable police. Like, this is the guy, he's got like the hair's all like jacked up again. He's all skinny again. He lost all his gains. Like, not to body shame the guy, but dude, like, he was kind of killing it for a while. And I kind of wish he stuck with it maybe a little bit longer, or did some tweaks, but hey, man, do you, I'm cool with it. Absolutely. But, and I do applaud him for being at least honest along the way. Like, I lost my gains, but I feel better. So he's figuring it out for himself as well,
Yeah, 100%, man. Again, it is his own journey, and go for whatever works for you, as I said before, and right here, right now as well. I'm not against carbohydrates. If you feel better this way, then go for it. But by the looks of it, I have to agree as well. I remember when he went carnivore, and I was still a vegan, I believe, man. I think he went carnivore before me. And then a month or 2 months in, out of a sudden, vegetable police, and he's already 40 or something, he started looking like a man, finally. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. What a change, right? Finally, he started looking more manly and not so boyish. And that just faded away again. Now he's back to his normal self.
Yes.
That is what veganism does to you. I think that vegans kind of mistake this longevity aspect with hormone suppression, and they just look childish, boyish, right? They never look really adult. That is what I observe.
That is a good point. Evan was talking to me about that yesterday. We were kind of talking about, the differences between like the juice fasting, water fasting crowd that's on the one end of the far end of the vegan spectrum, and then like the Sean Baker carnivore end of the spectrum, where you're eating this meat and it's giving you this like terrifically grounding, practical focus energy, where you're very much in this realm. And what I believe is happening is the meat is essentially optimizing you for reproduction, because you're going to find that these are the people with children and they're hornier and they're making muscular gains and they're able to make babies and their hormones are in balance. And then the other people are on a slow path to essentially extinguishing themselves from this earth. They're on a slow path to death. Exactly. And when you're forced to become, this is why old people, I think, become more spiritual in their later years, is because they're naturally going down the slow path of the extinguishment. And in our younger years, we're eating all the grounding, hardcore foods, and what are we focused on? We're focused on finding a mate and banging it out. And
Yes.
that's just the way that it is, right? Like, and
Exactly.
we know now that one is attached to the other.
Yeah, it is by default like that. If you look at spirituality, quote unquote, it is the opposite of physicality. That is just what it is. So this is why fasting practices are used for spiritual development. This is how it works. You go on a water fast, you become an ascet, right? You're fasting prior to psychedelic experiences. All of that is to get you out of the so-called monkey body, the flesh vehicle, right? To become more spiritual. And yes, I do agree. This is why older people are a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more connected to the divine, if you will, than us younger people. I'm not that young anymore, but well. So that is the whole thing. Every time you go against your physiology, you go more into the spirituality, or at least you can use it as a tool. And this is why vegans, especially raw vegans, feel very, very spiritual, right? We know how that feels. Super spiritual, flying up high. But well, you cannot go with that forever. I always like to give this example of Jesus Christ. If you look at some sort of Messiah figure, what is the ultimate spiritual pursuit? It is the crucifixion. It is the suicide, so to speak, right? Giving up the physical flesh, transcending. And this is basically what they do on a smaller level, sacrificing themselves for the greater good, for the animals, right? It is this illusion that they find themselves in, and this gives them this false sense of spirituality. In the end, it is just starvation. That is not true spiritual growth. That is veganism in a nutshell.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, I never even thought about the fasting before the psychedelic experiences, because that kind of gets you halfway there to begin with.
Yes.
And then when you take the drug, you know, the medicine, whatever you want to call it, we got a super chat popping in here. The Ted Carr. I'll get to that in a second, Gung Fu. Thank you for the 50 NOK. And so, yeah, we have the leading up to the psychedelic experience, and then the psychedelics then taking you like way over the edge versus you being carnivore. Have you even messed with psychedelics since being carnivore?
Ooh, don't let me lie now. I don't think I did, man. In the last year, right? In the past year, did I touch anything? I'm really trying to think of it. No, I didn't. No psychedelics.
I have not either.
Yeah,
I have
none
not
whatsoever.
either, man.
Yeah, just didn't cross my path. Maybe soon.
It would be interesting. Like,
often.
I wonder if it would be harsher, because it's interesting. When I was vegan, and I messed with some of the mushrooms a few times in Hawaii with the friends. I still, you know what? I can't draw any conclusions there, because I still had some good experiences and some bad experiences. So I was gonna say, like, as a vegan, maybe I had better trips, because as a meat eater, I can tell you almost every single one of them has been bad. But we're talking pre-veganism with my experiences with them. But anyway, no real parallels to draw. I'm not even gonna go down that route. But
no, but I can add to that,
it.
because now you just reminded me of that. Once I started with psychedelics, that was back in 2011, I believe. And that was due to my illness, right? I talked about that extensively on my channel. I was very sick. And this is why I started playing around with psychedelics. During that time, I was still eating a bodybuilding diet. I was eating rice and chicken. And the trips were horrific. And then they were great. They were religious. They were spiritual. They were light, they were dark, they were everything. I had many, many experiences. And therefore, I wouldn't say that they got necessarily better when I was a vegan. However, one constant never changed, and that was the fasting. So when I was eating meat, I was still fasting before that, sometimes up to 24 hours before the experiences. And therefore, I didn't see any issue with that diving into the experience as long as I fasted. Yeah. I would do it the same way now on a carnivore diet. Just fast 5 hours at least, and then dive in. Would be interesting to see. I'm actually quite curious. I think I'm going to do it again. Drew motivated me.
I think I'm going to do it again. That that wooded area. That wooded area that you thank you. I think you were in Germany. You said you were like in some wooded area and you were walking through when you were making your vegan pains videos.
No,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember. That was in Germany.
Area looks that looks like a cool area to float
It's
around.
beautiful.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm actually going there very, very soon. On the 23rd for Christmas, I'm going over. So in around about 10 days. Yeah, it's a beautiful
Nice.
forest. Germany has beautiful landscapes, man. It's just too cold. Just way too cold this time around. But summertime is really, really beautiful. Yeah.
Where are you right now, by the way? Macedonia?
Macedonia, yeah.
Okay. Gung Fu with a super chat says, no joke, but anyone knows someone who might be interested in Bruce Lee's personal training equipment from a reliable source? Okay, if you guys want Bruce Lee original training equipment, contact our boy Gung Fu.
Yeah, I talked to Gung Fu before. He's a subscriber of mine as well, and I know that he's a huge Bruce Lee fan, and he's legit, guys. He has everything, man. Real training equipment. This is no joke. This is no fake. So if anybody, he's the man for that. If you're interested, then write Gung Fu for sure. 100%.
Awesome. Okay, so there's so much going on in the chat. Guys, if you do have like stuff you want me and Bobby to cover, just save it for a little bit later. We're going to get to the chat stuff. And then I think you wanted to talk about something you brought up earlier, which was my potential experiment. And this is something I've been kind of teasing off and on to the audience. I am serious, but I also don't want to do it. It's a 60 to 90 day vegan experiment where basically I really go vegan.
Bless you. Guys in the chat,
it didn't happen.
Let us know what you think about that idea. I want to know what you think about Drew's idea to go vegan as an experiment. Now, please.
Yeah,
continue.
So 60 to 90 days, vegan experiment. Some people are already shouting me out, make sure you take blood tests before and after. Make sure you do this. Make sure you don't add this. Make sure you do add this. This isn't for... I will take suggestions for what people think, but if it doesn't fit into my goal with it, then I'm not going to go forth with it. And I still might not go forth with it. It's like a 50-50 situation. And here's the problem. When I think of eating a vegan meal or even a week of veganism, my body mentally rejects it, man. Like it's like, dude, no, please. Like it's praying to me, don't do this to me. And I don't know what would happen with my digestion. I don't know what would happen to my gains. I don't know what would happen to my teeth. I don't want to make the goddamn meals. I don't want to cook the food. I don't want to clean up after the food. I don't want anything to do with it. So it's really weird how now I have this thing, because I remember trying to talk meat eaters into trying this out, and now I'm there and I'm like, dude, what are you trying to prove here? And One Punch
What
Vegan
are you
here.
trying to prove?
What I'm trying to prove is basically that all the vegan doubters along the way who said that I did it wrong, I'm going to incorporate the goal would be to develop the perfect vegan diet, attempt to do this for 60 to 90 days, and then show the objective results. What I'm going to measure, I'm not taking blood tests. I'm going to measure weight, I'm going to measure body fat percentage, and I'm going to measure objective strength measures in the gym. So I would use certain strength exercises in the gym. I would attempt to max out. Like, the NFL Combine, they use 225 pounds on the bench press as like your overall strength number, basically, how many reps you can do on 225 bench. Right. I would do that with I can't rep 225. So I would rep 135 and I would see how much I can do there. And then I would go do this experiment. And along the way, I would keep training my exact same regimen now. I would attempt to keep the calories roughly the same, so there's not a caloric difference there. But here's my constraints. Has to be 100% whole food plant-based. No protein powder. No goddamn Vivo Life digestive enzyme bullshit. I'm not supplementing with anything at all. I'm not taking hydrochloric pills. No, it's 3 months. I'm not taking B12. I'm loaded on B12 right now, right? I should be loaded on B12. So, yeah, that's my constraint. So I would be roughly eating 60 to 80 grams of protein a day, probably. Back to that bullshit. And I would probably eat less fruit than I used to eat. And then, so that would be my constraints. That's my experiment.
Looking at it from the vegans' perspective, I already see them wanting the blood tests. However, I have to say, it doesn't work either way, man. Because if you don't do the blood test, they will say you didn't do the blood test. If you do the blood test, guess what, guys? In how many weeks? 6 weeks, 8 weeks,
12 weeks.
there will be no big difference. There will be no noticeable difference in your blood levels. And then they're going to say, it was just placebo. It was all in his head. And this is why he ditched veganism, because his blood work was perfect. It's bullshit. The blood work won't change in those couple of weeks, couple of days. So you, for a real experiment, which I urge you not to do, you would have to go vegan for half a year or 1 year or so to really do it, right? But I wouldn't do that for any money in the world, man. Talking about shills, dude, the vegan Illuminati could come down to me and give me $1 billion. Okay, then maybe. Yeah, but other than that, no chance, man. I couldn't do it. I'm a curious bastard myself, and I'm interested in experiments like this. Yeah. However, dude, I have the same mental barrier. When I'm thinking about this, man, my gut is cramping right now. Just imagine literally you eating that food. I'm cramping, man. I can't do that shit. So for me, that will be out of the question. The first time that I would give it another go, maybe, would be in 3 years. And that would be with the incorporation of lab-grown meat, right? Maybe do an experiment like that. Something outlandish, but not now. No chance. I'm not eating whole plant, cow, and bird food, man. No chance.
See, with the lab-grown meat, what I foresee with that problem is that a 3-month experiment would not be long enough whatsoever with that, because you don't know what deficiencies you're getting until what? I mean, I didn't recognize that I was having issues on the diet. I was making changes like through the way, like, I need a little more protein, I need a little more fat, I need to go on a juice fast. Like, this was all within the vegan umbrella. But when you're incorporating the meat, you're getting the protein, you might not be getting all the micronutrients. So that would be like something that shows up 5-10 years down the line in a deficiency format. Just similar to me saying my libido kind of crashed as a vegan. Then I go and ate meat. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but with the lab-grown meat, from what I know right now, there will be no cholesterol in it. So lab-grown meat is not lab-grown meat, it is lab-grown muscle tissue, fat-free muscle tissue. They already said that they're going to add coconut oil to it, right? Some sort of homogenized coconut oil, so they get rid of the bad cholesterol. No bad cholesterol and no saturated trans fats, whatever. So point of the story is, it is muscle meat, as close as it gets, but you don't have the animal fats. And everybody that has been vegan knows what really regenerates you is the animal fats. That's what you really need, man. So therefore, I think that after a couple of months with lab-grown meat, you would see a difference as well, and you would feel worse. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat saying they respect the adventurousness, but the experiment will do nothing for objectivity. I disagree, because it is my experiment on myself. I have shown what has happened essentially on a 90 to 95% carnivore approach in my body. Not a whole lot of weight gain, some muscle definition changes. If I'm being honest, if I'm being perfectly honest, I am not gaining the power and the muscle. It didn't turn me into Superman. I say this all the time. I thought my hypothesis would have been that I would have gained a lot more muscle a lot easier. It didn't happen. I didn't gain a bunch of weight. I've actually struggled to put on weight. As a vegan, of course, I had to it's a hard comparison because I did force feed a bit at the end there to gain up the weight. But I didn't gain the power that I gained right now. I'm stronger than I was as a vegan, 10 pounds heavier. Does that make sense? I'm lighter, but I'm stronger, objectively stronger. The body fat looks better.
You're way stronger with that, not only because you're lifting more weights, but because you weight less as well then.
Yes, yeah, the power to weight is higher.
Exactly. Yep. That's it. Yeah, no, I see the carnivore diet being great for strength as well. But we're spinning our wheels here. Again, for weight gain, there are more efficient methods. You can look into Stan Efferding's vertical diet. It is basically carnivorous diet plus rice. So that's pretty much it, guys. We can talk about that till the cows come home. It is what it is. Carbs are superior. It's true.
I bet there would be, if I start doing this double rice meal, there would be an immediate explosion of size and weight gain. And people would be like, whoa, what's happening? Carnivore diet's really good. Really, because people would come along and say, whoa, the carnivore thing is really working for you. And I would say, Well, actually, it's carnivore plus rice that's giving me these results. And I'm talking to other people too that are well-known carnivores, like William Schufelt. I'm sure you know who he is, the Red Power Ranger guy. Remember, you know him, right?
Red Power Ranger guy.
Yeah, he was the Red Power Ranger on the last series of Power Rangers, whatever, and incredibly shredded, like very shredded to the bone. But he weighs 160, 163. He's like 15 pounds heavier than me, I guess. But he says that he basically can't make any more gains eating carnivore only. Like he's completely tapped out. He looks incredible, and everybody would say, "Hey, I want to look like that." But hey, if you're plateaued, you're going to reach a point where it's like maybe a little bit of rice isn't going to kill me. And if you are of the mindset that eating 2 cups of rice a day is going to completely destroy your digestion when you're a healthy person, like right now, Bobby says that he can't really handle it. And maybe I can't handle it either. I haven't tested it yet. But I would ideally like to be able to do that, to be flexible enough to be able to do that if I wanted to.
For sure. Again, guys, rice. Rice has been eaten traditionally over thousands of years, man. Rice is something that people can eat. It is not impossible, right? And if you think you're going to die of eating white rice, then you are again in another trap. So I'm not saying that the carnivore diet is not better than the vegan diet. Yes, it is on any level.
Yep.
Looking at the debate of Wilkes and Kresser, when Kresser says he would choose a plant-based diet over a carnivore diet, that was just absolutely admitting to defeat and being ridiculous, because that is not the case. You will still need your species-specific diet. However, if you are afraid of rice, you're going too far, man. That is, again, another belief system, and that's all it is. I'm interested in what works. That's all. Since veganism, I said to myself, I don't want to be dogmatic about anything. So now, sure, I can look into rice and consider it a seed and say that seeds bring you mental illness and digestive upset and this and that. But the reality is, what is happening when you eat rice? So for me personally right now, it doesn't work that well, but used to work great, fantastic. And for thousands of other people, it still works fine. That is it. An ideology is an ideology, but if it does not work for you, why do you want to identify with it? And I do see it now in the carnivore movement as well, because it is appealing, it is sexy, it is the counterpart to veganism. It feels great to be a carnivore. I get it, man. It feels amazing. Fuck you, vegans. Carnivore, yay. Team carnivore, awesome. And therefore, you get into a new belief system and a trap where you are afraid to eat 2 cups of rice per day. Will I give up my label? It's another label again. And the mind is always obsessed with labeling. Oh yeah, now I'm the carnivore gains, whatever the fuck. For me, that does not matter. I do what works for me, and you should too.
Thank you, Bobby. Yes, that is exactly how I feel about it. I think us as ex-vegans are very sensitive to attaching ourselves to anything at this point. Like, I would almost eat a couple grains of rice a day just so that I won't be a carnivore. Like, I like saying that I'm not carnivore, to be honest with you guys. Like, I don't give a shit. As soon as you attach yourself to a label, that's what opens you up to the major criticism. And I'm down with criticism, man. Like, throw it my way. I don't really care. I'm going to keep doing what works for me. But it's annoying that people think they can pin you down for what you did and didn't do wrong based on your label when they don't even know you in real life. They don't know what you're eating. You know, I've shown what I've eaten as a vegan. People still say that I could have done it differently. Like, how would I have done it differently? There's only so many plants that you can buy in the store.
Yeah, talking about that. So hypothetically, if you would do the vegan experiment, right? It would be interesting if you would take some experts into it that would guide you, coach you. And then in the end, I mean, it's maybe a dick move, but then at least you could point the finger and say,
that's the point.
It's not my fault, right?
That's my point. Yep. That would be my goal, is like, expect it to fail miserably, but be honest about it. I don't know about daily vlogging, but like, show what's going on. You know, if I have crazy gas, like, put the camera up in my butt cheeks and show what's really going on down there. Let people know, like, hey, this is real. I really have these digestive issues. Like, I can feel it in my colon right now, the pizza that I ate last night. Like, it doesn't feel amazing. It's not as horrible as it is after eating a bowl of lentil soup, but it doesn't feel good. It's not steak. I can tell you that much. Christine Salas says, forget the vegan experiment, do milk, rice, and meat and see how big you can get. And there's other people echoing that, saying just do the vertical diet, just do white rice and meat if that's what you want to do, get bigger, get bigger. Yeah.
That's how
okay,
it works, man.
Cool.
You guys are right.
That'll be my first stop. I'll do the vegan thing will be down the road. I want to hit a certain point of size. Like for me, it'd be like maybe 160, like get up to 160 looking damn good and be like, all right, now let's watch the vegan diet ruin this. It's like, let's paint the painting and then let's see what the vegan diet does to maintain this thing that I built on meat with no supplements, by the way.
Absolutely. Man, honestly, the thing is this, you are 34 now, right? And you have to build your physique now. You cannot deteriorate further because building shit in your 40s is even harder. Right. So experimentation is nice, but you don't want to deplete yourself again in your 30s, whilst you're still somewhat young. So that will be a waste of potential. Later on in life, you face anabolic resistance and you're not absorbing protein that well. Of course, in your 40s, it's still doable. I'm not saying it's impossible, but still, it gets harder and harder and harder. In your 30s, it's harder than in your 20s. In your 40s, it's harder than in your 30s. That's all. So therefore, I wouldn't do extensive experiments. But if you do, who is coaching you?
Well, I guess I would have to bring Goji Man into the equation. He'd be my corner men would be Goji Man, Mike the vegan, and I would try and attempt. And who?
Hench Herbivore.
Hench Herbivore.
Yes.
Please, Hench, contact me. I need your advice.
He's just upset himself, man. He's suffering so bad, the poor dude.
Well, he can mail me some syringes and some bottles in the mail. Hopefully, it makes it here from the UK. I would like some of what he has.
Would help, but not with the digestion. He's in contact with Goji Man all the time. He cannot fix his gut himself, man. But yeah,
because he eats fucking chickpeas all day long.
Dude, all fucking day. He tries to get the whole food protein. That's a path to destruction. The guy's 50 years old? He still doesn't get it, man. Just destroying himself every single day. So much self-hatred for what? That is sad.
Yep.
That is very sad.
I think my FU to the world is the grain-fed meat. Like I just don't care anymore. I'm eating the grain-fed meat. It's slaughterhouse. It's factory farm. It is what it is. And I know that some people are going to be like, well, they're still kowtowing, appeasing the vegans. Like, oh, I went carnivore, but trust me, I eat all free range, all grass-fed. It's like, hey, man, at the end of the day, the cow's getting a bolt in the head and you're eating it. You own that. Please own that you're doing that you're eating the meat. Some people don't want to own that still. I think it's kind of pathetic.
No, this is why I went to slaughter myself, right? I mean, I upload the video twice here on this channel to see the process and all of that. I have a stance. See, I was an ethical vegan, right? And I started finding out about crop deaths and bike kill. And I really got intrigued by it and interested. And then all of a sudden I found out, wait a second, I'm not that ethical at all as a vegan. And then I found out that being carnivore is actually more ethical. So for me, carnivore originally was still an ethical choice. And therefore, I really try to source as local as possible, right? Again, thank God, my cousins and uncles, they're hunters and butchers. We're getting wild boar, everything. So I do like to be as ethical as it gets. But this is why I went vegan. So my motivation didn't shift. I just realized that veganism is not it. Let's say I want to become a better person, right? A more spiritual man. And I join a religion. Choose your pick. I'm not going to name a religion, right? And so a couple of weeks later, actually, we're going to do some terrorist attacks. Yeah, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for being more spiritual. And that's the same with veganism. I signed up because I believed you're not going to kill anybody, right? Nothing dies. And then once you find out about it, I said to myself, that's not the path I want to go to. Right. It's much better eating meat, much better for the environment, much better for the health. It is what it is.
So I don't go down the rabbit hole of the environmental aspect, and others do, especially the vegans, because this is one of the things that they hang their hats on. And Vegan Gains recently, he did a debunking video of Elisa's 30-day carnivore video or whatever, and he was
how are you going to debunk that?
Well,
just an experiment. Yeah,
not to the vegans. It's a war attack basically on them. So he said that, and he shows his flashing of the studies on the screen and the COD and the carbon dioxide and all the deltas and the fucking, percentages and shit. And everybody's just like, oh yeah, believe this guy. Like, really? Do you really know what you're reading, my man? Anyway, so he flashes all this stuff on the screen and he says that feedlot beef is actually better for the environment than grass-fed beef. And the vegans really believe this. I don't know the difference, but the funny thing is they're the ones who pretend like they do know the difference. They don't know, like your buddy, the Australian guy. He comes on and he's like, this information is all inaccurate. Like, it's completely wrong. And yet the vegans will just take their like little study and they say their interpretation of that study, and they'll say, this is the way it is. You guys are wrong. The grass-fed beef is not sustainable. It's worse for the environment. It's like, how are cows walking around eating grass bad for the environment? I don't get it.
Exactly.
It's like saying birds existing are bad for the environment.
Exactly. Animals existing is bad for the environment. That is the entitlement of veganism. They're going to point to one biased study and they're going to take that as the holy gospel, right? This is it. However, if you look into rotational grazing methods, right, the Ellen Savory method, you will see that those practices are not only carbon neutral, but even negative, right? There is no impact on the environment. Quite the opposite. If anything, the impact is that those cows shit and piss on the grasslands. And that is great for the soil, right? That is it. So to find something wrong with that, you're finding something wrong with the whole ecosystem. That means that in billions of years of existence, now the humans in the cities found out how life has to exist by decimating animals, right? By getting rid of them, by producing lab-grown meat, soy meat. That doesn't make any logical sense. It's completely ridiculous. I'm not arguing that certain agricultural methods are bad for the environment. Of course they are. However, you cannot find that in properly grass-fed beef. That's ridiculous. You have to be an idiot to believe otherwise.
Yeah, I just can't believe that they're coming up with counter arguments to this when I've explained this many times. I have a local producer down the street that's, these cows are literally eating weeds, like completely inedible and unusable land for any purposes. This is mountain lion territory in Southern California. You're not even hiking in this area. And yet there's a herd of 300 to 400 cows. And this is just one guy doing that. I mean, this process could be duplicated all over. Oh, you have grass to eat? We're going to get the grass cows. You have weeds to eat? We're going to get these. This guy has this special breed of African cow that can survive in the desert. It's a totally different breed. Not every cow is the white and black polka dot, milk cow. It's like vegans don't even know. These things have big ass horns. They're like, these things are fighters, man. They're like monsters. And the beef is insane, man. So I don't get it. I don't know where they're getting their information. Again, if there wasn't this ethical thing attached to it, then we wouldn't even be talking about this.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. There are certain lands and you cannot propagate anything on them, but let cows grass. That's pretty much it. So what you're going to do with it? Man, when I was driving through France, through Germany, fields and fields and fields full with cows, and there's still so much space. It was luxurious, man. There were just a couple of cows everywhere, and do that, square meters, hectares on end, right? So much space for them. You can always duplicate, triple that. You can put cows anywhere. That is the beauty of it, right? They eat, they convert what you cannot eat. You can eat beef, done deal. There is no negative impact. To believe that there is negative impact is to believe that the natural world is completely out of order. And living animals that piss and shit outside is just plain wrong. So we all need to sit here, put our headphones on, run to the toilet, piss and shit in the toilet, bring the sewer system, filter the water. That is what we have to do. And that is not an issue, right? And then we need more vegans that fart more, and that is great for the CO2 emissions. It's a complete scam. It's brainwashing.
I agree, man. And Vegan Gains and Freely both made like counter pieces to that whole 30-day carnivore experiment that she did. And both of them brought up the fact, because Elise in the video mentions digestion. She's like, my digestion got better in the carnivore experiment. No surprise, and if they were able to try it, they would see for themselves, but that's beside the point. So they go, then they flash this study about how when people eat a plant-based diet, their constipation goes away, which there's disagreement there in the medical community as well. Like a zero fiber diet is actually shown to have less constipation than a high fiber diet. But even that is beside the point. Elise didn't say she had constipation. All she said was her digestion was better in a general sense. She didn't say anything about constipation, yet they go and they say, well, it's proven that plant-based eaters have better digestion because they have less constipation. Therefore, she's a liar. She's a liar. It's like, that isn't even what she said. We're not even talking about fucking constipation. No, of course no vegans have constipation. You idiots are shitting 3 times a day because you can't even, you're like stuffing so much fiber down your pipes. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that is what vegan gains especially always does, right? His only argument, I observed him obviously for the past couple of years. It just comes with the territory again. And you see that everybody that he's against is by default a liar, right? That's always the case. So when he attacked me, I don't really remember what it was. But again, I was probably talking about my digestion as well, about my tooth pain. And exactly, it was that, tooth pain. And then he said, I haven't seen any medical reports of Bobby about his teeth. I haven't seen any medical reports, and therefore he's a liar. Yeah, he's a liar. And about his digestion, probably gave the same argument. Therefore he's a liar. I'm like, dude, I was just sharing what is happening to me. How am I a liar? Why would I lie about that? I was shitting 16 times per day. My teeth were rotting out. Now they're not anymore. That is what is happening. Reality. I'm a liar. Yeah, damn.
It's funny. Like they never say you're incorrect and this is why. They just say you're a liar. They say don't trust anything they say. That's the cop out to the debate. They don't want to actually talk about what's happening to you, what's happening to me, what's happening to everybody else. Let's not look at the results. Let's only look at the theory and the studies that we don't even know who the author is. We don't know who the experimenters were. Like, it's irrelevant information in the end game. Like when we have channels called Vegan Deterioration watching vegans falling apart.
I mean, in the end, Drew, you have to understand that we will still be eating steaks, right? You and me, we will be feeling good. We sit here, we have big fat steaks. Life is awesome. I never want to go back to that starvation shit diet. Meanwhile, a vegan gains is shitting blood, is depressed, wants to kill himself, suicidally depressed since forever, right? I was watching a live stream of his, somebody linked me the timestamp, and Vegan Gains said that he doesn't understand what the difference is between him and a chicken. And therefore, he doesn't want to inflict any suffering on the chicken because, what would be the point? Even if he would feel better, he wouldn't do it. By that, you see, this man is by default not a natural human being. He sterilized himself. Sure, you could say personal choice, but there you see it. He just removes himself from everything.
All right.
He suffers instead of a chicken suffering, and he removed himself, sterilized himself. He's not even human in my book. Sorry, he really is not. That's how I see it. It's a huge mental disorder, and he is glorifying that. There were questions on this live stream. My viewers linked me to it, and they said, please check this out. He's talking about, what about if you don't like your own children? Is that acceptable, yes or no? Answer, Richard, yes, it is acceptable. You don't have to like your own children. Great. How about if you don't like your parents? Answer, Richard, just leave them. Just break up the contact. Don't talk to them. That is the advice that this man is giving. Listen, I'm never going to do this snitch move and report channels, shit like that. That's not for me. Everybody has their forum. Everybody has freedom of speech. But I'm going to say, this is not only dangerous advice, this is just shit advice for life. How do you want to end up? Being depressed, bleeding out of your ass, and separated from your family. That is vegan gains. That is vegan gains. A sterile human that is removed from his family, being depressed, wanting to kill himself. And that is his real life result. That is vegan gains. Congratulations. I don't want any part of that, man. Disgusting.
Yeah, on a personal note, in regards to personal relationships, like that's something that I take very, very seriously. And I get the viewpoint of these people cutting out these toxic people out of your life. But the reality is you can never really cut somebody completely out of your life. Now, I understand if somebody, like, if a boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, cheats on you and burns your house down and slits the tires in your car, like that's an insane, unstable person. Get away from that person at all costs. But there's there's a give and a take, man. Nobody's perfect. And if your parents are judging you for whatever it is that you do in life, does that mean they're terrible people? No, they just have a different viewpoint and perception than you. And if you can't handle their difference of viewpoint and work with it and somehow maintain a civil relationship, then you're probably going to fail in all the relationships in your life. And your solution for every relationship that goes not your way perfectly is going to be just to detach, and you're going to have a life of fucking meaningless, short-term, shitty relationships. And I find that, the people who have the longest-term friendships, I don't know about you, but I have friends that I've been friends with since I was 5 years old. And we go through times where we're hanging out a lot, and we go through times where we're not hanging out so much. Neither time is better or worse. Everybody goes through their little cycles. But if you can maintain really long-term friendships with people, that probably means that you have a good understanding of personal development in yourself, and also seeing that there may be differences in other people, and then bridging the gap more so than being like, oh, you're doing this thing, goodbye. We see that with all relationships now, boyfriend, girlfriend, marital situations, one little disagreement, one little anything. It's just oh, you're on a different path. Okay, detach. Oh, see you later. And everybody just flows away. It's dude, you're not going to you think you can do better. You're not going to fucking do better. You're going to waste your time again with somebody else, and that same situation is going to happen. And it's shocking to me that Vegan Gains is able to maintain this relationship with his wife. I mean, as soon as maybe as soon as the channel doesn't do so well, or the money stops flowing in, or whatever the hell the case is over there, they're going to eventually have their dispute. What's he going to do? Is he going to detach from her? No, we've already seen his codependency with that. They broke up years ago, and then he flew to Europe to do some grand proposal, and he made videos about it. And it was a very awkward situation. And I'm glad that they worked things out, but that's not a normal situation. And if he has nobody else in his life, it's no wonder why he went through those lengths to make that one happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was very well said, man. It was a great summary, not only about Vegan Gains, but human psychology in general. And it's true. I think when you look at society nowadays, we're very spoiled. And of course, you can make a conspiracy out of this as well and say, this is what they want. They want to separate us. Yeah, it could be, maybe. Is it pop culture? What is it? But you see that people really pride themselves in being so independent, right? And just detaching themselves from everything, as you said. And yeah, there is no pride in that, man. You should be proud that you can actually hold people together, that you actually improve connectivity. That is beautiful, create networks, hold your loved ones, the family members near to you, as near as possible. That is the art nowadays. It's kind of interesting. The counterculture nowadays is actually getting married and having a family and holding together.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have this with this MGTOW movement as well, right?
Yes.
Men going their own way.
Yep.
And some people post on my channel, they're like, yeah, Bobby's going MGTOW when I make a statement. I'm like, nah, dude, I have a girlfriend. We are together for years now here.
Yeah.
And that is not what I'm doing at all. Just standing up for your own belief systems doesn't mean that you go only your own way. Life is about relationships. You can be alone when you're dead, bro. Then you don't have anybody. That's all
I want to get more into this, and would probably be a good way to head with the show, because I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say on that. And I know I've done extensive research on the MGTOW, the red pill, the no fat movement. I want to talk about all that stuff with you. It's stuff that interests me very, very deeply. It's something that I'm studying actively, and being somebody who just got out of a relationship and there's other stuff going on, it's interesting to learn about this stuff and see different perspectives. And somebody mentioned, before we move on to that, damn it, I can't find it now. They tagged me. I don't know where it went.
You remember who it was? Maybe I can find it.
Because I had it saved on my screen. I was scrolled up on it, and then the thing just, I don't know, maybe their name got
dropped.
Oh, I think its name's Chuck. I think Anti-Vegan axed him. I don't know what they said. Yeah. They said, I don't see what any of this has to do with veganism. Where were you? Name's Chuck. What did you say? These ad hominems are great. They're upset that I'm just kind of speaking about the vegans, I think. Beyond Conventional said, hey, Anti-Vegan, I love your wrench moderation. I love for you to smack people down if they're being completely idiots. But when somebody says, I had grass-fed steaks before I was vegan and they made me feel like shit, I want those opinions in the chat. If that's how they felt, cool. That doesn't bother me. They can say that. They're not saying anything bad. They're not attacking anybody. But I would prefer for those comments to stay. But shit, where is this comment? Oh, here we go. Perfect. They said, so the IPCC International Panel on Climate Change is vegan biased. I would post a link to the report, but the chat removes it. So first of all, I don't know who that International Panel on Climate Change is. I'm sure it's a very liberal, socially funded organization where there's all kinds of public interests, private interests with their money in those people's pockets. If you think the UN is some unbiased, holy organization, you're an idiot. There's tons of laws that don't make any sense within every culture and every society. So I don't care about this international panel of climate change. I would rather talk to real farmers who are on the ground, who are the ones with their hands in the dirt, who understand this stuff, what's actually happening. Because I guarantee you the people on this panel probably know less than they do. But I wouldn't say that they're vegan biased, but they're probably some pencil pusher, report writing people who have no idea what they're talking about. And yet they're just like collecting this information and they're not even, it's a joke, man. Anyways, Bobby, what do you think about that? Have you ever heard of these people?
How dare you? How dare you, Drew? Yeah, what do I think about that? I always like to give the example of the World Health Organization because the vegans love the World Health Organization. And I always refer to Dr. David Klurfeld. He was on the board of the World Health Organization when they passed this statement that meat is carcinogenic and bad for you and
Right.
And he said that it was one of the most frustrating decisions of his life. That is what he stated, because it wasn't a majority really. It was just that there was a majority of vegetarians and vegans on that board. So the meat eaters didn't really vote for it. The vegetarians, the vegans did. And in the end, it got passed, right? It doesn't mean that every certified nutritionist, every scientist on that board was for that statement. You understand? And therefore, this happens all the time. So therefore, if there is a majority of, as you said, liberals on that board and they decide, yep, it's true, yeah, then it will be true. Imagine a board, just because we talked about it right now, imagine a board full with vegan gains or with vegan YouTube. Imagine those guys are in Congress, right? In your government. Then they will represent, God forbid, they will represent their opinions and those laws will pass. That doesn't make them right. That is an appeal to majority, appeal to popularity. That is what that is. And the vegans are the first ones that will tell you, oh, it's an appeal to authority. You are always appealing to authority. Don't you see that every single argument, every single vegan argument is based on authority? Nothing more and nothing less. There is not one vegan that is a free thinker, just thinking for themselves, experimenting on themselves. Your scientific evidence, the N=1 study on yourself, counts the most for you. I don't have to tell you that meat is great for you. I'll say meat is great for me. Give it a go. And then you'll see. That is the most important thing. You appeal to authority fallacy, fuck right off. I don't even have to listen to it. That's all I say.
In the Freely video where she talks a bunch of shit she released yesterday on the Elise Carnivore situation, she mentioned, she talks about the class 2 carcinogen of the meat and all this stuff and how the red meat is so bad. And she's even trying to insinuate that by at least doing a 30-day carnivore experiment and posting about it on YouTube, that it could potentially lend her to legal trouble in the future. Because if somebody, God forbid, tries this dangerous challenge with these class 3 carcinogens that are known to cause cancer, and she even makes the assessment, the potential result of somebody trying this. She's like, it's so dangerous for you that 2 weeks in, if God forbid somebody has a heart attack, which is totally probable. Lady, there's no person who starts eating carnivore diet and then 2 weeks in they have a heart attack. Hasn't happened once. It's never going to happen. Get over it. And I was literally watching this as I was eating a steak. I was eating my steak. I was watching this on my phone and I was eating this. I was like, I couldn't help but just smirk like an asshole and be like, you're so dumb. All she needs to go do is try this for herself for a month herself, and she'll see it's not what she thinks it is. And I'm sitting there cutting up my steak with no fear of this alleged impending heart attack. And in fact, she's the one imposing this fear on people with this false... she's the one giving the goddamn banana diet. Most people are having, insulin resistance and weight gain and weight loss and mineral deficiency and all this other crap from eating her stupid ass diet. And she's the one who looks worse over time, not Elise. Elise looks better over time. So crazy.
Drew, how did we even get here? Our ancestors, they must have dropped of heart attacks after 2 weeks of being alive, right? I don't know how they procreated. Probably they got babies whilst being babies and after that dying of heart attacks. That's really ridiculous. Man, the cult mechanics in veganism are quite obvious because many cults, they let you feel that you cannot live without them, that you would literally die without the cult leader. And if you look into veganism, it is the same because what happens when you quit veganism? Not only are you killing animals now, right? So you are a bad person, but you're killing yourself. You're getting a heart attack. Dude, I was traumatized, my girlfriend as well. In the beginning of eating carnivore, I was scared of eating eggs. I was eating the eggs, I was enjoying it, but I was looking at them and thinking of them as cholesterol bombs, right? Oh, I'm going to give myself a heart attack. Why do I do this? The brainwashing was so strong. And those are the fears that the vegans play with in order to keep you in the cult. You're afraid of your own demise. You're afraid of destroying the environment. You're afraid of destroying the animals, right? Those are 3 fears that are embedded in your psychology. And this is why it's so hard to break out of veganism for many. Yeah.
I had the same experience, man. So when I started eating meat again in September, I felt great. I had no issues. And then a few months later, I started doing very consistent hardcore calisthenics. And within about a month, I developed a chest pain. I talked about it publicly on my channel in between my ribs. And it just so happened that right where this like little tear was in between my ribs, it's the myocostal tissue, I think. Something like that. Anyways, it's a known thing. But I had this, costochondritis is what it's called. Anyways, I had this in between my ribs. And for months, it was affecting me. And I didn't know if it was the food or if it was my workout stuff. And eventually I stopped doing the calisthenics for a couple months. I took a couple months off and it completely healed. I have not had any type of pain in that region whatsoever. In fact, I have no niggles in my body right now. My body is completely fine. And yet I'm over here eating the most amount of meat I ever have and the most amount of eggs. And I feel perfectly fine. So there's no issues. Anecdote. Yeah. Over time, I become even more and more confident with the way that I'm eating versus, a lack of confidence where I'm like, oh, like over time as a vegan, here's the thing. Here's the ironic thing. As a vegan, over time, I wanted to promote the diet less to people. In fact, on my YouTube channel, I was openly speaking out about how we needed more protein, how certain avenues were incorrect about veganism. Like I was already going down the anti-vegan route as a vegan. So, whereas now I'm going more towards the pro-meat argument because things are working out longer and longer term for me. And I'm becoming even more confident with it.
Yeah, for sure. I have utmost confidence in this diet. Yet again, I'm always open-minded as I can be. But to be totally truthful, you cannot win me over to veganism any longer. I was talking about this with my girlfriend, and we were talking about debates with vegans, right? And I said, there is no real merit to it, because if you would be, let's say you take 2 philosophers, right? And those 2 philosophers are really interested in the truth. And now they're talking to each other, debating just in order to really find out what is true and what is not. That makes sense. That is fruitful. However, let's be honest. There is a vegan right now. Let's say the vegan has been vegan for 2 or 3 years and feels great. Cool. Good for him. That vegan will be 100% convinced that veganism is good for them. And all the rest, the environment, animals, blah, blah, blah. You, me, already been there, done that. No, thank you. Right? So you're not going to win me over anyways. So now we can talk about theoretics, about the studies. We can talk about this and that. And in the end, I'm going to eat my steak. And that's it. That's the end of the day. So therefore, it is not really fruitful. Of course, you could say, yeah, but now you have a new rigid belief system. It is based upon experience, man. I've been there for 4 fucking years. I don't want to do it again. Please.
Same. Yeah.
That's it.
I said that too. Like all the debunking videos, watching Game Changers, debunk Game Changers. I haven't watched 1 minute of it because it doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant. I'm like, I've already, what are they going to say to me? Like, this is all I see is a new marketing piece. And then I see the other side coming to the rescue to debunk the new marketing piece and gain their foothold on the whole situation. For me, I'm like, hey, I'll talk to you guys. We can discuss it if it's interesting. But to be honest with you, these debunking videos are the most boring things of all time. I hate all of them. I hate the the James Wilkes, Chris Kresser thing, the energy in that room is so toxically cringy. I can't even watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't make it through. Man. It was so disgusting. And just so preposterous. Because in the end, really, if you look at it as objectively as you can, you will see James Wilkes, that is team vegan. And then you will see Chris Kresser, who is team meat. But that is bullshit, because the reality of things is Wilkes is not even a vegan himself. He's plant-based, right? So he admittedly still eats a little bit of meat. And now you take Chris Kresser, and guess what? Chris Kresser is for a lot of vegetables, right? A lot of tubers and starches and whatnot, and a little bit of meat. You're on the same boat, you fucking idiots, both of you. It's just what it is. It's true. So now you have both guys on the same team, but debating for some sort of arbitrary goal, which nobody really goes for. Wilkes, if the vegan diet is so great, go vegan, man. Go full vegan. You will feel like shit. Like anybody else. That's the end of the
argument, right? Like, why wasn't that said? Why wasn't that said in the thing?
They couldn't, right? Because the study here, let me debunk Chris Kresser, what he said here. Dude, that wasn't about the game changers. That wasn't about nutrition. It was Wilkes talking shit about Chris Kresser. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, we're not learning a lot from that. We're not getting anything from that. So
nothing, man. There's no merit to it. That's it. So therefore, in the end, again, what stays is just your own experimentation. Otherwise, you will constantly fail. And dude, before the internet, man, I've been around for a bit longer. It was very, very fucking easy. You go to the people that you admire. You ask them in real life, what do you do to get those results? You're in the gym. You ask the bro science. Yeah, you ask the guy, what do you do, man? Well, how do you eat? How much do you work out? What do you do? And they're going to tell you. And then you're going to try to adapt to that and see if it works. And that's it. If it doesn't, you change something. But nowadays, everybody wants the Holy Grail presented to you. It is veganism. It will heal all your sins. Now you're a good person. You don't have anything in your life. Now you have it. This is your purpose. Go for it. Save the planet, save the animals. Yay, Greta Thunberg. Fantastic. Man, it's fucking ridiculous. It's a joke. I don't need a belief system. I don't need a new ideology. Again, we're boiling down to what works and what doesn't work. Simple.
Yeah.
But people, man, that's us talking, and nothing comes around.
Nameschuck says again in the chat, the IPC is not the UN. They're an independent research institution. Farmers know nothing about climate science. Well, okay. So here's the interesting thing. Farmers are the ones actually producing the food for the world, right? They're the ones that are been responsible for producing the food for the world for centuries. So they're probably more attuned to the environment and what's really going on in the soil, how the soil affects the animals, how it affects the grass, the rainfall, the temperatures. They're the ones who know. But you want to appeal to the science because the science is going to tell the farmers how to grow food. Do you not see the inconsistency there in your belief about that? Like, farmers are making the adjustments based on the environment, but the scientists are the ones telling the farmers, and then they're going to blame it on the farmers? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
They don't see it, man. This is the whole movement. Again, like me as a gym bro, I have to give those examples, but it's the same fucking example. The study shows you just need 0.8 grams of protein. Yeah, but it doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. I don't give a shit about your study. The science says you have to do a full body workout split. It doesn't fucking work. The bro split for bodybuilders works better. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't fucking matter. You can take your studies and fucking shove them. It doesn't work, right? The reality of things is the sport of bodybuilding is 120 years old. In that time frame, people have been doing their experimentation, and now we know what works. And it's the same with those farmers. Those people that sit behind their little studies, they have no real life experience. They have no life. And this is why we see them so prominently on the internet, because they have no life. This is why they spend all their time debunking online without knowing shit. Yeah. And about one more thing here, about those independent organization. Man, I posted a video and I was making fun of it myself. I said it is an appeal to authority, me stating this. And I was talking about, I'm going to butcher this, the annuals, I always said anals, whatever, of blah, blah, blah. And those guys said that there is absolutely no correlation with meat and cancer or any disease. But those are the same guys that said there is no correlation with eating sugar and disease. So there you go, right? I cherry-picked myself just to prove a point.
Right.
It is ridiculous. I do not trust them. I don't give a shit about what this organization says. If they support my bias, great. If they don't support my bias, great as well. That is the sovereignty of a human being that doesn't need an authority to form an opinion. Unbelievable.
Anti-vegan donates $4.99. Thank you. What do you guys think about parents forcing their children to be vegan? And that is a good question. We'll get to that in a second. And I also wanted to just make a statement earlier regarding you said about babies having babies. That's the only way that we made it this far. Like you're 6 years old, you had a baby. That 7-year-old died with a heart attack. You lost your father at 7. But what I wanted to point out, and this is something I thought about yesterday, is there hasn't been a single lifelong vegan, to my knowledge and to the vegans' knowledge, there hasn't been a single centenarian birth to death vegan that has ever existed, right? So if that hasn't happened, and vegans are all about the epidemiology or the studies or the double-blind trials, we need to see at least one. Show us one, please. And it hasn't happened yet, right? So until that does happen, then they need to just shut up about all of the evidence and whatever. Like, they're making the craziest inferences. We don't even have one centenarian vegan, yet we have how many thousands, if not millions, of centenarians that smoked cigarettes and ate meat their entire life, right? Like, it's not even comparable to what we know about what meat does for you versus what veganism does for you. It's such a niche, unknown territory.
It's ridiculous. Anyway. Man, we all know that there is no science on exclusive vegan populations. Right. So they take those plant-based studies, right? So by the default, you already see we're talking about plant-based. I'm telling you guys, make your life easier. If you're a vegan right now and you think you have a healthy diet, you feel good, just incorporate twice per week wild salmon. You will feel better. That's just what it is. Salmon, you can find studies on salmon, why it's so good for you, DHA, EPA, right? Omega-3, very healthy. Just add that twice to your diet and see what's going to happen. Of course, that diet is already superior to a 100% vegan supplementation diet. And you already have the science for that as well. So therefore, it already boils down again to the same belief system, to the same dogma, that veganism is a religion, nothing more and nothing less. It has nothing to do with science. Otherwise, you would be plant-based. That's it.
We talked about this earlier. Anti-vegan asked the question, what do you guys think about parents forcing their children to be vegan? If you want to touch on that again, Bobby, because we did talk about that earlier, but basically Bobby said it's criminal.
Yeah, it is. It is. As I said before, you can clearly see what the species-specific diet is by exposing a baby to food, to different food. Give it the vegetables, give it the man-produced vegetables, give it the fruits, and give it the meat, and give it the raw meat as well. And then see what the baby will eat, right? It will gravitate towards the meat every single time. That's just what it is. Point blank. You know it when you were a kid. You're vegan now, you're watching. When your mom gave you sausages with a little bit of vegetables, you didn't want to eat those vegetables. It is what it is. And that's not because the sausage is unhealthy. No, it is because it's your species-specific diet. Hence, it is criminal, but I have to say that I don't necessarily want to see kids removed from their parents either. That is a sad scenario too. So what we need is true education. And we need monitoring there as well. We cannot let people malnourish their children in this modern day and age. I don't want to see kids getting taken away from their parents, but I don't want to see kids with crickets, man, and absolutely malnourished. That would be just not the world that I want to live in. Yeah,
I feel the same there. In Hawaii, I was around several parents that had 100% vegan children. It was like it was a coin flip. Some of the kids had really bad issues, ranging from dental to other just weird shit, and some of them looked fine. I don't know. And some of them were even like raw vegan. Like Ellen Fisher's kids, they looked fine to me at that time. But maybe like in time as they grow up, is there going to be issues? We don't really know. But hey, if the kid gravitates towards that food and naturally wants to eat it, like Bobby said, cool. Give them the option. Like when they're still in those development stages, like if the child wants to eat raw liver and it chooses that over a banana, let the kid eat it. Like he probably is going to get something good from it. And that's what we would have eaten ancestrally for thousands of years. So why they were wrong that we should be going back to bananas for nutrition? I don't think so. So
there is no risk to be taken. That's the thing.
Right.
If you let your kids go vegan, right, or you make them go vegan, then you're conducting an experiment. However, if you give your kids meat, then you're just doing what everybody has done for all of those years. What is
Right.
so problematic about this? Do you really want to feed that cholesterol? Yeah, dude, we're all fed on the cholesterol. You know, we're
Right.
still here. It's all good. No worries. It's
Someone
ridiculous.
said,
Veganism is experiment.
someone says that Nimai Delgado is thriving. But Nimai Delgado is thriving.
Sure.
What do you say to that, Bobby?
I think it's a troll, right? But
I think
Nimai
so, too.
Delgado, again, Nimai Delgado lost all his gains. You can argue that he went off the juice, which I believe he did, honestly.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
looking at him in supreme conditioning for the stage, that's a different look. And I know bodybuilders, again, I've been around. So he's definitely not on those amounts of steroids anymore. But on top of that, he's just losing gains overall. The question becomes, why wasn't the motivation for bodybuilding there any longer, right? And you can see he built his gains whilst being vegetarian. You still have the animal foods. Then you go off it, all of a sudden you lose the motivation for bodybuilding because you gravitate towards lighter exercises, such as yoga and whatnot. You just don't feel physical anymore, aka veganism. So this is what I see
Right.
with him. I don't see him thriving at all. If we're talking about sport aspect, he's a much smaller version of himself. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I'm sure we could go on forever and ever. I'm loving this show. I hope you guys are too. But we have gotten Bobby on here for 2 full hours already, and I know it's getting late there in Macedonia. So I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's anything final that you want to shout out to the audience, we've kind of incorporated some of what you guys have said. I hope, me and Bobby didn't pop off too hard. We'll have to have him on again. Oh, well, right? So,
For sure.
yeah, any final words that you want to shoot out to us?
Guys, honestly, man, by now you already know my stance on the whole subject. I think I don't have to repeat myself. Veganism is malnutrition. Veganism is human abuse. That is just what it is. Everybody that goes against it is conducting human abuse. You cannot feed vegan diets, quote unquote, man-made, manufactured, produced foods to children. That is child abuse. I really hope that everybody will wake up. I hope that people will not only reclaim their health, but reclaim their mind and really see what works for them. In the end, my statement is, I don't give a shit about labels. I don't give a fuck what you want to call yourself. I care about your results. If you have any good, if not, we won't hear about you anyways, right? We're not scrolling down on Instagram soy boy buddies because nobody has gains. It is what it is. Anyways, guys, that is my take on the whole subject. And yeah, if you don't know my channel by any chance, then check it out. Bobby's Perspective.
I have one last question for you, Bobby.
Okay.
What is our renewed vigor with all of this vegan YouTube stuff? Because we both burnt out a while ago, like 3-4 months ago. We were over it, and I'm having more fun now than ever, and you're cranking it too. So what do you think is the thing that has brought us back into this game?
Yeah, okay. On that note, I want to say thank you very much for the community that we built, man. And not only on my channel, but I'm talking about cross collaboration, right? Here, Drew and me, we never met in real life, man, but I feel like talking to a friend, and we should meet up at some point for sure.
Absolutely.
The rest of the anti-vegan community is going strong as well. I see the anti-vegan, vegan-phobic, great channels. I just see this community working together against a common enemy, and that binds and gives motivation, fuels you. I have people reaching out to me on a daily basis, asking me to make videos, for example, against people like Aga in America with her baby and whatnot, right? And that definitely motivates me on a daily basis. And sometimes when I'm down, I just think about how bad I felt as a vegan. And I'm grateful that I don't feel that way anymore. And that fuels me, man. And I say, dude, I don't want anybody to go through the same shit like me. I'm going to warn them. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do rant 7,370 just to warn the people again. Feels good. Feels good to have healthy people and not brainwashed sheep that follow this cult. Yeah, that keeps me going.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I have experienced the same. My community wouldn't let me go. Like I was about to fade out and just chill. And they, I was trying to do some other things, and they're like, Drew, we need you back on the live streams. You got to do this. And I was like, all right. And then perfect opportunity came through. I think it was Sunfruit Dan that popped in, and he was like, Drew, let's do our interview finally. I'm not even vegan anymore. I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect entrance back to this community. And again, like being part of the community is great, but I see it as a very positive thing in the end. And it's like you said, common enemy, but really I see us all as promoting a basically positive health message and helping people who are locked into this weird prison cell in their mind that they can't get out of it. And I feel very bad for these people. And when you get those messages on a daily, weekly basis, hey, Drew, you and Bobby, I've had this message a bunch. Your and Bobby's streams is what helped me get back to eating animal foods again. And I feel so much better. Like that's a multiple times a week message and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, dude, thank you for your work.
Thank you, Drew. On that note, with the common enemy, I'm not talking about that the vegans are our common enemy, but veganism, that belief system is the common enemy. I don't give a shit about you being vegan. I was vegan myself. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with that brainwashing that you have to endure, and we want to save you from that. That is that, man.
Agreed, man. Appreciate the final words, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Take
have
care,
a good weekend. Peace.
All right, Bobby's perspective, everybody. Lovely, lovely chat. I hope you guys didn't feel too neglected. I couldn't read over here. Me and Bobby were just flowing way too hard. There's just no way. Yeah, so once again, as I told Bobby, I really mean that. Thank you guys for bringing me back into the situation, because I was like, I think it was really organic. She messaged me. She's like, Drew, where are you? We need more live streams. It has to happen. I was like, all right, I will figure out a way to come back. And here we are. It's like a couple months later now, and we're just smashing out these interviews. We have the 4 interviews this weekend, and it's never felt better. It's never felt better. Whoa. What was that? Yeah, Bobby is mad real, man. Bobby is mad real. I feel like most of the Carnivore crew is super real. And for a while, we had a little DM crew in Instagram. It was like me, Bobby, Jonathan Irizarry. We had Elise in there. We had Kate in there. We had a few other people, and we had called it the Carnivore Collective. We were constantly messaging each other, just like keeping up to date with each other. Hey, Christine. Hope you got a good workout in. Annabelle, Drew, are there any recent ex-vegans that have yet to come out? I've heard of a few potential experimenters. Definitely not public information, but I haven't heard any updates on them in a while. So I don't know I don't know what's happened to them, and I don't have any connection to them anymore. So it is what it is. Holistic Biohacker says, I think your channel is due to explode in subs. Keep the momentum. Yeah, I hope so, man. I want this thing to blow up huge. I want 100K, man. I don't see why we shouldn't have that here. There's a lot of people who are interested in knowledge, truth, information seeking, entertainment on YouTube. That's what I like YouTube for. I'm a fan of YouTube, and I want to make good content for people who like YouTube. So I want to put out the best product I can, hands down. That is what I'm here to do. Frank is saying everybody's a Cargill show, man. I don't know what his thing is. We've talked about that a lot. I don't know if I could say any more about it. I think it's just stupid. It's funny. Drew, the question is, who's your favorite Power Ranger? Oh, the red Power Ranger is always the tightest. Come on. Let's be real here. Cult of Vegans and the Uneducated says, Drew, you are a legend defending truth and humanity against the vegan death cult. It's a dangerous thing, man, because very weak people get sucked into veganism. Very weak-minded people get sucked into veganism. Almost everybody comes from a eating disorder background, some kind of emotional attachment to the veganism to begin with. If you get into veganism for health specifically and performance, because that's the lie that you were sold, then you'll end up like me, because that's what I got into it for. And I saw that it wasn't true. And when I saw that they were lying to people about that, and then those other people were getting sucked into staying vegan because they felt guilty, it was, like I've said before, like a bad relationship where you are codependent on the vegan community and the emotional eating aspect, and maybe veganism helped you lose that last 10 pounds because you were basically starving yourself of calories. And now you owe your life to veganism. No, you don't. You don't know it shit. You don't know freely nothing. You don't know these people anything. Save yourself. Luke says, this is your calling, man. I rarely like a channel so much. I begin to follow it like crazy, but I'm eager every time. You guys are amazing. I don't know how you guys watch 3-hour live streams. You know, if you guys want to know where my inspirations came from for live streaming and for talk radio in general, I grew up listening to, in LA, we have a channel called 97.1 Talk FM. It's no longer that channel. It's turned into a radio channel, like just a music channel. But all my life growing up, from like 13 years old to 25, I was listening to talk radio, because when you're working, it's such a nice thing to have like these people that are consistent. They're on the air every single day talking about interesting topics. Maybe they have multiple people on the channel that are like different personalities where they all kind of bounce things off of each other. And that's what inspired me to do this stuff and the format that I use and the 3 hours and everything like that. This is what I'm trying to create. And eventually I'd like to get to a point where I can start the stream at the same time every day and leave the stream same time every day. But sometimes it doesn't work out because obviously we have different people in different time zones. So we have to work with where they're at in the world, like logistically. So the other thing too is I like the interactive aspect of the live stream. I think that the chat is the most revolutionary aspect of the live stream format, because you can have the live people interacting with the presenters, and that is the next level of live streaming for me. You know, there was live talk radio before where you can physically call in on the cell phone. That was cool. But this is another level, and we can even add in the callers and the chat at the same time, because, you know, a lot of people aren't willing to call in. So, but they are willing to participate in the chat and watch 3 hours of live stream. So God bless you. Michael Romanes says, are you going to try a vertical diet, Drew? Yeah, I'm considering that. I think the next step for me, like I said before, is if my weight doesn't continually rise, I'm going to start adding in milk before bed every single night. And if that doesn't work, or if that for some reason messes my digestion up or doesn't feel right, then I'll probably start adding in honey first. And then from there, I will start doing a little bit of rice. I see Phil Uscott in the chat. Phil, what do you think about that? Me being like 99% carnivore right now and not being able to gain weight and wanting to put on a little bit more muscle mass. Do you think that I should start incorporating maybe a little bit of rice, a little bit of honey before my workouts, or what do you think? Because there's gains happening, but it's not the overall mass is not coming onto my body. It's not filling in my body. Heavy whipped cream. You guys want me to hit the that doesn't really interest me. I don't know where I would incorporate cream. Maybe it would be so good that I wouldn't be able to say no to it. Maybe I would like it. I don't know. Jay-Z Davis, thank you. You're saying I'm a natural. You're saying this is the YouTube game at the top level. I just want to get better at this and keep providing a very, very high-end piece of content that stands the test of time. People will be interested in rewatching these interviews years later down the road. That's why I leave up all my stuff on YouTube, even when I was a vegan, because I feel proud of those videos at that time that I made them, and I feel like I was remaining objective in every single one. I was never overly promoting anything in any of those videos. I think that they're all good. I haven't removed one vegan video. Plus, I want people to see that I was really doing the damn thing back then. Nobody can say. That's why the vegans don't attack me. Really, they don't talk real shit on me. If they do, it's a personal attack. It's not about my veganism and what I ate as a vegan. They don't have much to say, man. The weakest argument that I've heard is that he did a juice fast. Right. And when I did the juice fast, what happened? I got better digestion following the juice fast. So you guys are idiots. Remember, the name says fat to gain weight. I don't know what that means. Please rephrase. Annabelle D says, what program do you run? What do you mean, what program? There's a lot of programs I run. There's always a way to incorporate cream, Drew, always. Yeah, maybe. What's the heaviest I've ever been? 183 pounds. So that's roughly 35 pounds more than I am right now. Honey, rice, or sweet potatoes. Yeah, I thought about the sweet potato thing, but they're very big, man. And also sweet potatoes take like an hour to cook. It's very impractical. Focus on compound lifts, but plus bone broth. That's already what I do. I do all compound lifts. Full body routine. I know Bobby said it wasn't the best, but I think there's something to gain there. I don't want to get flagged for the guns, man. What do you guys want to bet? Is this stream going to be demonetized, or what do you guys think? I am 5'10", Carson. 5 feet 10 inches tall. Nelly Nell, my boy, says, my client's numbers came in. Lost 37 pounds, 209 now. 172 pounds doing high protein, lean meats, 20 grams of carbs, no added fat, gain strength, mostly in ketosis. Nice. Was 209 pounds, now 172 pounds. Awesome. Phil answered? I didn't see it. Shit. Drew, would you say the carnivore community has better vibes than the vegan community? I just think we're more sensible, man. I think that I heard a lot of nonsense going on in the vegan community. A lot of it I couldn't jive with. I couldn't get with. You know, I love the people that I was around in Hawaii, but like a lot of it was just a lot of bullshit, man. Like, I'm gonna be straight up, dude. You know, if you're talking about taking on the emotions of the animal that you're eating, that's nonsense. You can believe that, but I don't believe it, and therefore it doesn't seem to affect me and millions of other people. Shakotan is 5 feet 10, 129 pounds, sliming in the carbs and roids. Use your Instant Pot for the sweet potatoes. Oh, yeah, good idea. I forgot about the Instant Pot. I do have one. And yeah, that is easy to do with the Instant Pot. You're right. But I do notice that I like baked sweet potatoes way more than I liked steamed sweet potatoes. And I also am worried about the oxalates, Brooke Graves points out. I would only eat like one sweet potato with dinner or something like that. It wouldn't be massive amounts for calories. Yeah, thanks for cutting through the BS. That's what we're trying to do here. That's it. That's all I care about is sifting through the BS, because there's a lot of it out there. And when it comes to when it comes to truth seeking and just being open-minded, I feel like there's not a lot of that, because I feel like when people take a hard stance, you know, they get that keyword in their title, that keyword in their hashtags. That's what makes their audience, and they don't want to steer away from that audience. I like I said, I like YouTube. I go to YouTube for a lot of research purposes. I make YouTube content for people who like YouTube. Like, if I'm an expert in anything, it's YouTube content. I watch a lot of it. I've watched it for years. I don't even know what my actual YouTube video watching amount is. It would be in the tens of thousands of videos that I've seen on YouTube. So I've watched it through the years. I've watched people grow from 1,000 subscriber channels to 1 million subscriber channels. And I'm not going to say like it's easy to do that by any means. That's hard, and it has nothing to do with being difficult. But the point is that I've watched the formatting over the years. I've watched how the thumbnails have evolved and changed. I've watched how the titles have changed. I've watched how people with really hardline messages seem to grow, like using other people's names in your title seems to grow a channel. Sicilian says, Drew, as much as I don't like it, avoiding animal product since a few days, erased my back inflammation, constant sciatica, but my skin is getting shitty. Interesting. That's interesting. I had some back inflammation as well. I was doing squats a few weeks ago, and I just felt this something pulled in my left rear hip, and I was nursing this thing, man, and it was a bitch. It hurt, and I couldn't even bend over to like pick something off the ground. And so Now I am just nursing this thing, and then now today it's like almost 100% healed. I would say it's like 99% healed. I don't know if I'm going to do squats today when I go to the gym, but I really want to. And yes, Schufelt is doing sweet potatoes, correct. William Schufelt is eating sweet potatoes to gain. He says he hasn't made any gains in like a month, and it's specifically because he just can't get enough calories in. He's only doing 2 meals a day. The only way my brother gained weight was by eating chicken and rice before gym. Yeah, back in the day when I gained 30 pounds in 3 months, yes, 30 pounds in 3 months. I was doing tons of chicken and rice, meal replacements, eating 5 times a day. I just became a totally different physique. It's pretty crazy. Is this So What guy talking shit? I know he's been in here. He's had some reasonable content before. What's he saying, man? Why is he getting timed out? In over 70 years of existence, the vegan movement still is floundering. Yeah, because they find it hard to get solid results that are consistent and replicable amongst a wide variety of people. Why do so many people go vegan and then leave? If it was a truly growing movement, people would go vegan and they would stay vegan. They'd be like, man, this really works and it feels amazing. Do what works for you, but the heavy whipped cream and coffee made me stall and gain weight. Interesting. Okay. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can throw a dollop in my coffee, because I drink coffee before I eat my breakfast usually. So maybe I can do like a little bit of heavy whipped cream in my coffee, and then I can, it will be like an extra couple hundred calories there. That might work. That would be good. Luke, you're saying you have shoulder impingement. You should get a lacrosse ball and just stick it in your shoulder and roll up and down the wall and really grind that thing out. That seems to really help me a lot. How are those double bicep gains? Right here. Joshua Banks, hey, Free did Elise really...
Steak, but just look at the texture.
Hang on one second. Where did that go? Hey, Free, did Elise really do a carnivore diet for 30 days? I smell something fishy. I think she really did it. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't in contact with her, but I don't know why she would lie about that. Here's the dumb thing about the whole Elise didn't do the carnivore diet for real. She was already eating basically carnivore for this past year. She was eating 90% carnivore. I mean, that's all she was eating was meat and stuff like that. She knew that it was good for her digestion. Whenever she would eat anything other than carnivore, she basically had some sort of like digestive discomfort. And it made her look so much healthier too. Shell F wants to know if I've considered getting my thyroid checked. Why would I want to get my thyroid checked? Why would I need a thyroid check? What's up, Bart? Bart just woke up. It's 9:20 a.m. on Sunday. Don't miss my live stream at 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, there you go. Bart Case is going on live today, guys. That's in 2 hours from now. Drew does curls before every stream to get the bicep pump. I haven't worked out in over a day. I didn't work out yesterday. This is a zero pump situation. I'm gonna go to the gym after this. Directly after this. I might eat first, but then I'm gonna go to the gym. I love the gym on the weekends, by the way, guys. Like, my favorite place to be. Nobody's in there. You usually can get the squat racks with the Olympic weights, which is so nice. I don't have to worry about people waiting in line behind you. I hate that. Luke says, Drew, So What was talking some shit. Real Organic saw more. He also spent some time pretending to be a psychoanalyst, analyzing my words and saying I was a psycho in disguise. I've seen him around. I've seen him say some questionable things and some regular things, so I don't know. I'll let you guys handle it. Really Organic can take care of it. What's interesting to me about some of the trolls that come through in the comments is like they'll make regular comments and then they'll say some crazy, outlandish, really rude thing, and then they'll go back to making regular comments, almost to like layer themselves in as a normal person in the community, and then they keep saying these like little stabby comments. Pretty funny. Shell F says, my father couldn't gain weight. He had an underactive thyroid. He drank heavy whip milkshakes. It helped. Cool. I think it's just a calorie balance thing. You know, I can gain weight. I have gained weight. It definitely took effort. Even as a vegan, I was able to finally gain weight when I was really putting in the calories and I wasn't feeling comfortable in my digestive system. That's pretty much what drove me to the destruction as a vegan. Nick says, how come you don't have your own equipment rather than going to the gym? Well, I don't have the space, number one. And number two, it's kind of nice going to the gym. I mean, you got all brand new stuff there. You got a huge squat rack. I mean, that squat rack that is at the gym is probably worth $3,000 minimum, $2,000. You could probably do it for cheaper, but it's a very nice squat rack. They have the Olympic weights. You can drop them if you want. It's nice. Bart has reduced his coffee by 90%. Congratulations, Bart. I'm on about 1 to 2 cups a day myself. I enjoy it. I love the gymnastics rings. That's what I was doing back in March, February. I'll pull up a video back then for any new people who are around here that haven't seen kind of like what I was doing back in April, May. I was pretty happy with these results. And you can kind of see where I was at here. And honestly, this physique might be better than what I currently have right now. I'll show you guys here. Probably a little bit leaner back then. And I was eating like still a little bit of rice and carbs and stuff back then.
Subject of vegans transitioning into a animal-based diet. If you're somebody who's vegan and you want to move away from the vegan community, the vegan diet, the plant-based diet, whatever you want to call it, and you want to start incorporating animal products,
Who's balding?
please reach out to me. I'm going to leave my Instagram info below.
I'm not balding.
It's
Whoops.
at Drew Morg. This is not a clickbait, not a troll video whatsoever. A lot of you guys have already reached out.
I'm not balding. Thank God.
Both from my channel comments and also privately in my Instagram DMs saying, hey, I am struggling spiritually, emotionally, physically with this decision. I'm considering it. There's so many ex-vegan videos on YouTube. I feel like I'm going through the same stuff.
Coffee is bad for digestion. Yeah, I don't think it's optimal. I don't think coffee is optimal for digestion, but I feel like if you like it, drink it in your own moderation. I stopped drinking energy drinks, and I'm glad.
To stay vegan, to not consume animal products for whatever reason. A lot of you guys been vegan and vegetarian. Some of you for your whole
See these pull-ups? This is what hurt my rib right here. Going all the way down there, it like creates this weird like extension at the bottom, and actually this was right where my pain was, right where my mouse is, if you can see that. In between those two ribs right there. That's where I got the chest pain for months. It was such a pain in the ass.
You wanting to improve your health, whatever your
I feel like
is,
if I went back to doing the rings now,
again, there's so
with
many
the way that I
facets
approach
to
working out, I could get even
health
better
paradigm,
results from them.
and some of you just want better performance. I understand that. I really think that I can speak to your emotional self and your logical self. So just reach out to me. This is just a pure gift.
Bart is not balding.
I
He
give
is
a lot,
sexifying.
hours a week to this project right now. I'm going to dub it the vegan prevention.
I drink regular coffee. I drink caffeinated
Dead
coffee.
serious.
I like it black,
Go ahead and reach
straight
out.
black
So
coffee.
The only stipulations to this is that
Light
have
roast.
to video chat through Instagram.
Serratus was
That's the
overstretched.
one
Yep,
and only
you're
way.
right. I think so
The
too.
reason that I have chosen to use this medium of communication is, number one, through video chat, I feel like
Drew eats hamburger meat and wears it on his chest.
I don't want to
God
be
damn you.
trolled by some vegan spies that want to come through and try and waste my time. People that are going to try and screenshot the conversation and take it out of context and post it up. That's not what this is about at all.
Because you have this ugly, deep-seated anti-vegan hate. Who are you talking to? I don't have vegan hate.
Confidential. If you do not want your information,
I think veganism is kind of bullshit.
Get out to the public. Maybe you are a large vegan channel. You want to speak.
So I tried
I
for years to get this kind of physique as a vegan, and I accomplished this in only 4 months on carnivore with a little rice. 0 supplements, no protein powders, nothing. And I would consider myself a hard gainer. Those ring dips are another breed from normal dips. Yeah, the ring dips are serious, man. Those are pretty tough. Yeah, so what I've changed with my workout routine now is, do I do a little bicep flex here? I wonder how I look compared to this, actually. We could do a little live bicep flex situation. All right, so this is May, right? I don't know. Depends on the lighting.
Process. As soon as I started experimenting with animal products myself, and
It's like the first time I've actually been able to compare.
This with people. I started
Hard to compare, huh?
reaching out privately to people.
I weigh about the same.
So far, so good. Nobody's information has ever been leaked. They entrusted me with their privacy, and I will.
Let's do the side pose. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I feel like my shoulders were pretty jacked back then. I don't know. Hard to tell. Craig says, it's almost over. You missed it? Yeah, you'll have to watch the replay, man. Give it about an hour and a half, and then it will go back to the first. Yeah, I was a bit leaner then. I was a little bit leaner then. I definitely had a pretty solid set of abs at certain points. My exercise goals is to basically just gain strength, gain size in a bodybuilder sense. I'm doing mainly compound lifts. So what I do in the gym is I go in there, I do 3 sets of everything. I work out till failure, 10 to 12 reps ideally. I really focus on the stretch and the contraction now. I really try and get that mind-muscle connection. I've dropped the weights down a little bit in terms of their, in terms of the amount. And basically, yeah, just burn the muscle out, exhaust it, fatigue it, really, all the way to the end. I'm not so much focused on power as much. I'm really focused on like working the muscle. One Punch says, is this a natural physique? Maybe you natural peak is lower. Have you ever saw an indigenous tribe member with such biceps? Yeah, man. There's some jacked ass indigenous tribe people out there for sure. And maybe this is what my body's meant to be. I don't know.
Here we've got some,
but I think it could get bigger.
Cranberry juice. It's great for your penis or vagina.
It's great for your penis or vagina. Thank you, okay, for the €5. They say, no point to be 100% carnivore. Being mostly carnivore is all day better than be a vegan. Also, now vegan can say you are supported by the dairy industry. Also, no vegan can say you are supported by the dairy industry. I am not supported by any industry. I wish I was. Cargill, if you do want to pay me out, holler at your boy. I will accept your money 1,000%. You're my favorite, Drew. Hey, I love you too. If you want to be a bodybuilder, why don't you use steroids? Why wouldn't you want to? Health reasons, man. I wouldn't want it. I don't want to deal with that shit. Humans take on the emotions of what they eat. Have you ever heard anything so completely ridiculous? Yeah, I know, man. It sounds ridiculous. What was the hardest calisthenics skill you managed? I didn't try any of the skills. I thought that being able to do a front lever would be pretty cool, but I wasn't even close to that. Muscle ups, I think, are pretty practical for gaining mass, but I didn't try that anyways. Yeah, I look normal when I don't fight. This is how I look normally. Nothing crazy. Like I said, I'm just not that big. I only weigh 146 in the morning, man. You need to be a lot bigger to be like impressive when you're just walking around. Frank is live now. Nah, we're gonna call it quits here. And we are going to eat and go to the gym. I appreciate you all for being here. Tune in tomorrow for the Rob Stewart stream. Probably going to be a little bit more of what we have today. It's my first time ever speaking to Rob. We haven't had any type of collaboration behind the scenes or anything like that. So it should be a fun, interesting interview. And we'll cap off the 4-day quad extravaganza. This is today, day 3 of 3 streams in a row. Tomorrow will be number 4. Hope to see you all in here tomorrow and have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace. Or Sunday, depending on where you're at.